That does seem like about a 30-60 approval rating. So they're saying disapproval 60-30% per Fox News. That's about what that hand ovation sounds like to me.
Members of Congress, I have the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. It's really an honor. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, First Lady of the United States, Second Lady of the United States, members of Congress, and my fellow Americans. Our nation is back, bigger, better, richer, and stronger than ever before. Less than 5 months from now, our country will celebrate an epic milestone in American history, the 250th anniversary of our glorious American independence. This July 4th, we will mark 2.5 centuries of liberty and triumph, progress and freedom in the most incredible and exceptional nation ever to exist on the face of the earth. And you've seen nothing yet. We're going to do better and better and better. This is the golden age of America. When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide-open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before, and a turnaround for the ages. It is indeed a turnaround for the ages. And we will never go back to where we were just a very short time ago. We're not going back. Today our border is secure. Thank you. Today our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is plummeting. Incomes are rising fast. The roaring economy is roaring like never before, and our enemies are scared, our military and police are stacked, and America is respected again, perhaps like never before. After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country. The flow of deadly fentanyl across our border is down by a record 56% in 1 year. And last year, the murder rate saw its single largest decline in recorded history. This is the biggest decline, think of it, in recorded history, the lowest number in over 125 years, year 1900. In fact, substantially before my wonderful father, I had a wonderful father, Fred, before he was born, substantially before he was born. That's a long time ago. He wouldn't like me to say that, but that's a long time ago. The Biden administration and its allies in Congress gave us the worst inflation in the history of our country. But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline. Mortgage rates are the lowest in 4 years and falling fast, and the annual cost of a typical new mortgage is down almost $5,000 just since I took office. 1 year. And low interest rates will solve the Biden-created housing problem while at the same time protecting the values of those people who already own a house that really feel rich for the first time in their lives. We want to protect those values. We want to keep those values up. We're going to do both. And we are going to keep it that way. The stock market has set 53 all-time record highs since the election. Think of that. 1 year. Boosting pensions, 401ks, and retirement accounts for the millions and millions of Americans. They're all gaining. Everybody's up, way up. In 4 long years, the last administration got less than $1 trillion in new investment in the United States. And when I say less, substantially less. In 12 months, I secured commitments for more than $18 trillion pouring in from all over the globe. Think of it, much less than $1 trillion for 4 years versus much more than $18 trillion for 1 year. What a difference a president makes. A short time ago, we were a dead country. Now we are the hottest country anywhere in the world, the hottest. As thousands of new businesses are forming in factories, plants, and laboratories are being built, we have added 70,000 new construction jobs in just a very short period of time. It's getting bigger and bigger and stronger. Nobody can believe what they're watching. American oil production is up by more than 600,000 barrels a day, and we just received from our new friend and partner, Venezuela, more than 80 million barrels of oil. American natural gas production is at an all-time high because I kept my promise to drill, baby, drill. More Americans are working today than at any time in the history of our country. Think about that. Any time in the history of our country, more working today. And 100% of all jobs created under my administration have been in the private sector. We ended DEI in America. We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
Lord Jesus, there's a fire.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Was that cringe, or is that just my bias? That just sounded so cringy to me. I mean, I don't know who could have thought that sounded good. You know, I don't understand why these people are. I mean, that's really. Tell me the truth. Did that sound cringy or what? That just sounded really cringe. Maybe it's my bias. I don't know, but it sounded cringe to me. I got to point to a baseball, football team in order to feel good about ourselves. We got to point to a what is this, football, soccer, what was that, to make ourselves feel good? This is the only way we're going to feel good about ourselves. We got somebody that actually won something. Amazing. We feel good. Oh, boy. The economy, it's great. Like, where are the Epstein files? The economy is great. What are you talking about the Epstein files for?
That's the first time I've ever seen them get up. And actually, not all of them did get up. But they beat a fantastic Canadian team in overtime, as everybody saw, as did the American women who will soon be coming to the White House. They were in the Oval Office before, and I just want to say a second very big congratulations to Team USA. But I have to say that, and I told them this, and we took a vote of the team. I said, anybody votes no, I'm not doing it. So they stood there, and they weren't about to say no, because I've never seen a goaltender play as well as goalie Connor Hellebuck. Think of it, 46 shots on goal, and I asked him, the one shot, the one where you put your stick in the back and it hit the neck of your stick and bounced off, do you practice that, or was that a little lucky? He refused to answer that question. But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Great athletes have gotten that, very great, the best, and I thought he deserved it. And I did take a vote, every single one of them. I said, I'm not giving it if anybody goes no, and every single one of them rapidly put up their hand. So I want to thank you all. What a special job you did. What special champions you are. Thank you very much. I'm also pleased to say that the next time the Olympic torch is lit, it will be here in America for the 2028 Olympics, and it's the summer version right in Los Angeles. We're going to do a good job in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is going to be safe, just like Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. And this year, and I must say I got them both. I got them in my first term, and I was disappointed because I didn't think I'd be the president when this happened. But strange things took place. And now I've got them because I got the Olympics and I got the 2026 FIFA World Cup, and I wanted to claim the 250th, but I didn't get away with that one. I couldn't claim that one for myself. But we're getting the World Cup, so we have the World Cup and the Olympics coming, and that is exciting news. So this will be a year to celebrate our country and the heroes who have kept it free. Men like Buddy Taggart. At age 17, Buddy volunteered to defend America in World War II, serving in the Pacific under the great General Douglas MacArthur. He fought bravely in the famous Battle of Manila, worked so hard. He was badly wounded and almost killed by enemy machine guns in Luzon. And 81 years ago this month, he liberated the largest internment camp in the Philippines, one of the largest anywhere in the world. But he earned many honors, including a Purple Heart and a Bronze Star, came home, started a family, and tonight he is in the gallery looking forward to July 4th, 2026, his 100th birthday. So, Buddy, you're a brave man, and we salute you. Even in times of challenge, setback, and immense heartache, the spirit of 1776 has always shone through very brightly. It was July 4th of last year when floodwaters tore through a girls' summer camp in Central Texas, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I was there, rising 26 feet in the matter of minutes, tragically claiming many, many lives. You all remember that one. As the waters threatened to sweep her away, 11-year-old Millie Kate McClelland closed her eyes and prayed to God. She thought she was going to die. Those prayers were answered when Coast Guard rescue swimmer Scott Ruskin descended from a helicopter above. Nobody knew where he came from. It was Scott's first ever rescue mission, a young guy, but very brave, very, very top, always top in his class. And he lifted not just Millie Kate, but 164 others to safety. People watched Scott from a distance, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The winds were blowing, the rain was pouring, everything was going, and that rapid water, nobody's ever seen anything like it. They said, wow, that's something. Tonight, Scott and Millie Kate are here together, reunited for the very first time. Thank you, Scott, Millie Kate. And Petty Officer Ruskin, I'm pleased to inform you that I am now awarding you the Legion of Merit for extraordinary heroism, which is what it was, extraordinary heroism. Thank you. And I'd like to have the military aide to please come down and take care of the service. Military aide, thank you very much. Take care of that very important service. Thank you very much. From 1776 to today, every generation of Americans has stepped forward to defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And they're really doing it for the next generation. But now it's our turn. Together we're building a nation where every child has the chance to reach higher and go further, where government answers to the people, not the powerful, and where the interests of hardworking American citizens are always our first and ultimate concern. That is the debt we owe to the heroes who came before us, and that is the promise we must keep to America for our 250th year. Last year, I urged this Congress to begin the mission by passing the largest tax cuts in American history, and our Republican majorities delivered so beautifully. Thank you, Republicans. All Democrats, every single one of them, voted against these really important and very necessary massive tax cuts.
That's the way to get the State of the Union. That's the way to bring unity.
Large-scale tax increases to hurt the people instead. But we held strong, and with the great, big, beautiful bill, we gave you no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And we also made interest on auto loans tax deductible the first time, but only if the car is made in America. Recently in Pennsylvania, I met Megan Hemhauser, a devoted mom who's homeschools her children, beautiful, 2 children, during the day while waiting tables at night as her husband works overtime operating very heavy equipment. Megan is here this evening, and she's happy to tell you that she is so much richer because with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and our expanded child tax credit done again by Republicans, Megan and her husband will take home more than $5,000 extra just for the year, cutting her tax bill in more than half.
How much is her electric bill? How much has her electric bill gone up every
Megan,
month?
please stand up. We're fighting for you, Megan.
What about groceries and electric bill and property tax and healthcare tax and everything else that's gone up? What about all that? Does that make up for the $5,000?
We're fighting for you, Megan. Under our bill, parents like Megan can also activate their children's brand new Trump accounts. And I didn't name it. I did not name that.
Forgot about Bitcoin. What about Bitcoin? You said it was going to go to $1 million
Nobody
and everybody
believes
invested.
me, but I did not name it. It was named by a very tall man sitting right there in the third row. Nice man, a good man. Tax-free investment accounts for every American child. This is something that's so special and has taken off and gone through the roof. Millions will be pre-funded courtesy of the U.S. Treasury and private individuals like Michael and Susan Dell, who have donated $6.25 billion to fund the Trump accounts for 25 million American children. They're great people. When I asked Michael Dell, how do you make all that money? He said, well, I just sat on my dorm in school, and I made computers, and I'd sell them to people. And I just kept selling and selling and selling, and pretty amazing story. That's called the American dream. He sold a lot of computers, a lot of those laptops, so I congratulate him on that, but I really thank him and Susan, as well as others like Brad Gerstner, a very tremendous guy. He was behind it right from the beginning. Brad Gerstner. Thank you, Brad.
Kind of like selling Trump phones. Make a lot of money doing that,
with
too. Just don't
modest
deliver them.
Additional contributions, these young people's accounts could grow to over $100,000 or more by the time they turn 18. Think of it. How much money is that for somebody that started with nothing? Over 100,000, could be much more than that. To make this investment in our children's future, go to trumpaccounts.gov, trumpaccounts.gov. And a lot of people are doing it. It's setting every record in the book. It's popular. They knew what it was going to take. I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of the people that got it started. And now it's just taken off. One of the primary reasons for our country's stunning economic turnaround, the biggest in history, where the Dow Jones broke 50,000 4 years ahead of schedule, and the S&P hit 7,000, where it wasn't supposed to do it for many years, were tariffs. I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made, right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
What about all those phones? 599,000 phones you sold for $500 each back in August. Still haven't gotten them. Here it is, February of 2026. That's like 7 months. Where are the phones? The Trump golden phones.
Investment and trillions of dollars will continue pouring into the United States of America because we finally have a president who puts America first. I put America first. I love America.
Where's my Obama phone? I mean, my Trump phone. I've been waiting 7 months for my Trump phone.
For decades before I came along, we had the exact opposite. From trade to health care, from energy to immigration, everything was stolen and rigged in order to drain the wealth out of the productive, hardworking people who make our country great, who make our country run. Under Biden and his corrupt partners in Congress and beyond, it reached a breaking point with the Green New scam, open borders for everyone. They poured in by the millions and millions from prisons, from mental institutions. They were murderers, 11,888 murders. They came into our country. You allowed that to happen. And record-setting inflation that cost the typical family $34,000 in just a speck of time. Now the same people in this chamber who voted for those disasters suddenly used the word affordability, a word. They just used it. Somebody gave it to them, knowing full well that they caused and created the increased prices that all of our citizens had to endure. You caused that problem. You caused that problem. They knew their statements were a lie. They knew it. They knew their statements were a dirty, rotten lie. Their policies.
You know, this is so stupid. We're on the brink of World War III. I mean, literally, we're already in World War III, but we're on the brink of going to war with Iran. Cuba's about to fall apart right on our, right there off the coast. Venezuela. It's not what they say. Nothing is what they're saying. You guys are going to wake up to a nightmare here real soon. Price of eggs.
Madam Secretary, thank you.
Price of eggs
The cost
down.
of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy, when they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it.
I can't believe all the imported beef they're bringing in now that from countries we can't trust and don't know what they're doing to the actual meat you're eating in the stores now because Trump can't get beef to be grown here in the United States. What's up with that? He's talking about beef now coming in. Hey, everything is up. I don't know where he's coming up with this. Everything is up.
Insurance company has gotten rich. It was meant for the insurance companies, not for the people. With our government giving them hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year as their stock prices soared 1,000, 1,200, 1,400, and even 1,700%, like nothing else.
Inflated
That's why
dollars.
I introduced the great health care plan. I want to stop all payments to big insurance companies and instead give that money directly to the people so they can buy their own health care, which will be better health care at a much lower cost.
It's going to be digital dollars. The U.S. dollars are going away. They're bringing in a whole new system. Your dollars are not going to be worth anything like they used to be. Your buying power is going to be diminished. It's already being diminished, but it's going to be worse.
In addition, my plan requires maximum price transparency. That's a big deal. Sounds so simple, so big.
It's digital currency. Digital currency is going to be tracking every penny.
And the Democrats immediately terminated it with full knowledge that they were doing a very bad thing for the people. Of course, we're going to go way up, and that's what happened, and now I'm bringing them way down on health care and everything else. I'm also ending the wildly inflated cost of prescription drugs like has never happened before.
We'll get rid of all those terrible vaccines that were killing you all these years, and we're going to give you mRNAs for all. Have a customized mRNA just for you. Take a little blood sample.
Tried to do it, but they never could. They tried. Most didn't try, actually. But they tried. They said they tried. They couldn't do it. They didn't even come close. They were all talk and no action, but I got it done. Under my just enacted most favored nation agreements, Americans who have for decades paid by far the highest prices of any nation anywhere in the world for prescription drugs will now pay the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. Anywhere. The lowest price.
You won't need any drugs anymore because they're promising mRNAs are going to heal everything, every cancer, every disease, everything, customized to your blood type and all your tumors, whatever tumor you have.
Second term, should be my third term, but strange things happen. I took prescription drugs, a very big part of health care, from the highest price in the entire world to the lowest. That's a big achievement. The result is price differences of 300, 400, 500, 600% and more, all available right now at a new website called TrumpRx.gov. And I didn't name that one either, by the way.
Yeah, right. Just like you didn't name yourself as arbiter of peace for the whole globe in the new UN called Trump the peace board of peace.
That big discount, and it is big. Catherine Rayner. For 5 years, she and her husband have struggled with infertility, and they turned to IVF. One drug has been costing Catherine $4,000 to purchase. But a few weeks ago, she logged onto the Trump RX website and got that same drug that cost $4,000, got it for under $500, a reduction of much more, actually, than $3,500. Catherine, we are all praying for you, and you're going to be a great mom.
I'm sure that drug's like only 10 or 15 bucks to make. Trump's still making a huge amount, but he's monetizing everything, guys, everything. He's monetized everything. And is he really going to make good on it? Look at the Trump phone. Look at the Trump meme coin. Look at all of his promotions of Bitcoin when it crashed.
Most favored nation program into law. Now, the one thing, I'm not sure it matters because it's going to be very hard for somebody that comes along after me to say, let's raise drug prices by 700 or 800%. But John and Mike, if you don't mind, codify it anyway. They may do it. Codify it anyway. Thank you. Many Americans are also concerned that energy demand from AI data centers could unfairly drive up their electric utility bills. Tonight, I'm pleased to announce that I have negotiated the new Ratepayer Protection Pledge. You know what that is? We're telling the major tech companies that they have the obligation to provide for their own power needs. They can build their own power plants as part of their factory so that no one's prices will go up. And in many cases, prices of electricity will go down for the community and very substantially down. This is a unique strategy never used in this country before. We have an old grid. It could never handle the kind of numbers, the amount of electricity that's needed.
Fix the old grid.
They can build their own plant. They're going to produce their own electricity. It will ensure the company's ability to get electricity while at the same time lowering prices of electricity for you, and could be very substantial for all of you cities and towns. You're going to see some good things happen over the next number of years. Another pillar of the American dream that has been under attack is home ownership. With us tonight is Rachel Wiggins, a mom of two from Houston. She placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why last month I signed executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up in the thousands single-family homes. And now I'm asking Congress to make that ban permanent, because homes for people, really, that's what we want. We want homes for people, not for corporations. Corporations are doing just fine. Rachel, thank you very much. Good luck with your home. You'll get one soon. We're also working to make it easier for Americans to save for retirement. And under this administration, we will always protect Social Security and Medicare. They are not protecting it for our seniors. We will always protect Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid. Since I took office, the typical 401k balance is up by at least $30,000. That's a lot of money. We have millions and millions of people, because the stock market has done so well, setting all those records. Your 401ks are way up. Yet half of all of working Americans still do not have access to a retirement plan with matching contributions from an employer. To remedy this gross disparity, I'm announcing that next year my administration will give these often forgotten American workers, great people, the people that built our country, access to the same type of retirement plan offered to every federal worker. We will match your contribution with up to $1,000 each year. As we ensure that all Americans can profit from a rising stock market, let's also ensure that members of Congress cannot corruptly profit from using insider information. They stood up for that. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Did Nancy Pelosi stand up if she's here? Doubt it. Pass the Stop Insider Trading Act without delay.
All right, I'm going to go get myself a cup of coffee. After he's done bloviating, I'm going to tell it like it is, so get ready.
I wasn't sure if anybody even on this side was going to applaud for that. I'm very impressed. Thank you. I'm very impressed. But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance. We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly. That's the kind of money you're talking about. We'll balance our budget. The Somali pirates who ransacked Minnesota remind us that there are large parts of the world where bribery, corruption, and lawlessness are the norm, not the exception. Importing these cultures through unrestricted immigration and open borders brings those problems right here to the USA. And it is the American people who pay the price in higher medical bills, car insurance rates, rent, taxes, and perhaps most importantly, crime. We will take care of this problem. We're going to take care of this problem. We are not playing games. Delilah. Delilah Colden was only 5 years old in June 2024 when a 18-wheel tractor trailer plowed into her stopped car traveling at 60 miles an hour or more. The driver was an illegal alien let in by Joe Biden and given a commercial driver's license by open borders politicians in California. Doctors said Delilah would never be able to walk or talk, have a good life. She wouldn't even be able to eat again. But against all odds, she is now in the first grade learning to walk. And she's here this evening with her dad, Marcus, a fantastic man. Delilah, please, you are a great inspiration. Please stand up. Thank you, Delilah. Many, if not most, illegal aliens do not speak English and cannot read even the most basic road signs as to direction, speed, danger, or location. That's why tonight I'm calling on Congress to pass what we will call the Delilah Law, barring any state from granting commercial driver's licenses to illegal aliens. And yesterday, as you probably saw at the White House, I hosted a ceremony with Americans who lost their treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration. People came into our country, how we allowed this to happen with our open borders. These are the angel moms and families that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored. It was terrible. Hard to believe, actually. In 2023, a 16-year-old high school cheerleader named Elizabeth Medina was supposed to perform in her town's Christmas parade, but she never arrived. Her mother, Jacqueline, went home to look for her, and she found her lying dead in a bathtub, bleeding profusely after being stabbed 25 times. Elizabeth's killer was a previously arrested illegal alien who had broken in and brutally extinguished the brightest light in her family's life, violently and viciously. Her heartbroken mother is in the gallery to remind everyone in this chamber exactly why we are deporting illegal alien criminals to our country at record numbers, and we're getting them the hell out of here fast. We don't want them. Thank you very much, Jacqueline. Thank you. We can never forget that many in this room not only allowed the border invasion to happen before I got involved, but indeed they would do it all over again if they ever had the chance. If they ever got elected, they would open up those borders to some of the worst criminals anywhere in the world. The only thing standing between Americans and a wide open border right now is President Donald J. Trump and our great Republican patriots in Congress. Thank you. Thank you. As we speak, Democrats in this chamber have cut off all funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's all cut off. It's all cut off. They have instituted another Democrat shutdown, the first one costing us 2 points on GDP. 2 points we lost on GDP, which probably made them quite happy, actually. Now they have closed the agency responsible for protecting Americans from terrorists and murderers. Tonight I'm demanding the full and immediate restoration of all funding for the border security, homeland security of the United States, and also for helping people clean up their snow. We have no money because of the Democrats, and it would be nice. We'd love to give you a hand at cleaning it up, but you gave no money. Nobody's getting paid. It's a shame. So you have to think about it. We have, in case you didn't know, a pretty large snowstorm out there. One of the great things about the State of the Union is how it gives Americans the chance to see clearly what their representatives really believe. So tonight I'm inviting every legislator to join with my administration in reaffirming a fundamental principle. If you agree with this statement, then stand up and show your support. The first duty of the American government is to protect American citizens, not illegal aliens.
Did he say that to prosecute pedos in high places in government? Did he say, is that what we're supposed to be standing for? The transparency and everything, getting out that. Is that what he just said? Are they standing for accountability for people that were in the Epstein files? Is that what they're standing for? I hope that's what they're standing for. I think Trump is wanting a total exposure of all this that's gone on for many, many, many years. That's good. That's what we voted for, right? MAGA, didn't we vote for that? Exposure and accountability and people going to jail? Oh, but wait a minute. Is this what he's talking about, or is this a hoax? This is a Democrat hoax. I forgot. Democrat hoax. I guess if we exposed it, it could collapse the whole country. So we better not say anything.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
See, this is optics to get anybody that might want to question the narrative to be lumped in with people that are Somali, Muslim, haters of America, right? You can't question the narrative. Otherwise, you're anti-American. See, this is the focal point. This is the divide and conquer.
I'm asking you to approve the Save America Act. Hello, everyone. To stop illegal aliens and others who are unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel. None. And this should be an easy one. And by the way, it's polling at 89%, including Democrats. 89%. And even the new communist mayor of New York City, I think he's a nice guy, actually. Speak to him a lot. Bad policy, but nice guy. Just said they want people to shovel snow. They got hit hard. Wants them to shovel snow, but if you apply for that job, you need to show 2 original forms of ID and a Social Security card. Yet they don't want identification for the greatest privilege of them all, voting in America. No, it's no good.
Since Trump's been speaking for the last hour, silver has gone up $3 an ounce. $3 an ounce. That's telling you something right there, guys. We're on the brink of war. This is what he's preparing the whole world for right now, is war.
Saving legislation right now, and it should be before anything else happens. And the reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things. You almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat. They have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat. And we're going to stop it. We have to stop it, John. And here is one more opportunity to show common sense in government. In the gallery tonight are Sage Blair and her mother, Michelle. In 2021, Sage was 14 when school officials in Virginia sought to socially transition her to a new gender, treating her as a boy and hiding it from her parents. Hard to believe, isn't it? Before long, a confused Sage ran away from home after she was found in a horrific situation in Maryland. A left-wing judge refused to return Sage to her parents because they did not immediately state that their daughter was their son. Sage was thrown into an all-boys state home and suffered terribly for a long time. But today, all of that is behind them because Sage is a proud and wonderful young woman with a full-ride scholarship to Liberty University. Sage and Michelle, please stand up. And thank you for your great bravery. And who can believe that we're even speaking about things like this? 15 years ago, if somebody was up here and said that, they'd say, what's wrong with him? But now we have to say it because it's going on all over numerous states without even telling the parents. But surely we can all agree no state can be allowed to rip children from their parents' arms and transition them to a new gender against the parents' will. Who would believe that we're even talking about this? We must ban it, and we must ban it immediately. Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy, I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. 7. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we? No one cares more about protecting America's youth than our wonderful First Lady, now a movie star. She's a movie star. Can you believe it? Who would have believed that?
There is no such thing as coincidences, guys. When you have coincidence after coincidence after coincidence, and Trump seems to be right behind it, you got to know there's something else going on. We've already exposed why and how. If you haven't been listening to us, you might be believing and drinking the Kool-Aid and the hopium.
Really a tremendous thing that happened and had a lot of bipartisan support. She gets much better bipartisan support than I do. I get none. She gets a lot. Someday you're going to have to tell me how you did that. And students and educators in every state have joined the First Lady's efforts in the presidential AI challenge, keeping America's next generation positioned to succeed and strongly succeed in the future. Tonight we welcome 2 young people whose lives reflect the First Lady's impact, Sierra Burns and Everest Nevermont. Thank you both, and Melania, thank you. I know how hard you worked on it. Thank you very much.
Somebody in the chat said, impeach Trump, impeach. Is that what you said up there? Is that what I saw? Impeach Trump, impeach? Wow, really?
I'm very proud to say that during my time in office, both The first 4 years, and in particular this last year, there has been a tremendous renewal in religion, faith, Christianity, and belief in God. Tremendous renewal.
You know, pre-World War II, Germany had a big revival of religion too, right before. Yeah, it had a big revival in their economy, everything. It seemed the war effort, everything.
It's true among young people, and a big part of that had to do with my great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man.
Even though he astral projected and went to some kind of Catholic mass all the time and did a bunch of weird rituals.
Violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand.
She looks wounded. She, you know, on all the podcasts, she looks real happy, but always looks real happy on the podcast and, you know, days after the assassination. But I guess grief has a lot of different effects on people. We can't really judge. She looks sad now. Woo.
Thank you, Erica.
Probably hitting her now.
Thank you a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind. We love religion, and we love bringing it back, and it's coming back at levels that nobody actually thought possible. It's really a beautiful thing to see. Above all, unleashing America's promise requires keeping our communities safe. We have made incredible strides, yet dangerous repeat offenders continue to be released by pro-crime Democrat politicians again and again. We are honored to be joined tonight by a woman who's been through hell, Anya Zuretska. In 2022, she and her beautiful daughter, so beautiful, what a beautiful young woman, Irina, fled war-torn Ukraine to live with relatives near Charlotte, North Carolina. And by the way, what's going on with Charlotte? Last summer, 23-year-old Irina was riding home on the train when a deranged monster who had been arrested over a dozen times and was released through no cash bail, stood up and viciously slashed a knife through her neck and body. No one will ever forget. There were people on that train. No one will ever forget the expression of terror on Irina's face as she looked up at her attacker in the last seconds of her life. She died instantly. She had escaped a brutal war only to be slain by a hardened criminal, set free to kill in America, came in through open borders. Mrs. Zuretska, tonight I promise you we will ensure justice for your magnificent daughter, Irina. How do you not stand? How do you not stand? I'm asking this Congress to pass tough legislation to ensure that violent and dangerous repeat offenders are put behind bars, and importantly, that they stay there. Starting last summer, I deployed our National Guard and federal law enforcement to restore law and order to our most dangerous cities, including Memphis, Tennessee, big success, New Orleans, Louisiana, big success, and our nation's capital itself, Washington, D.C., where we have almost no crime anymore in Washington, D.C. How did that happen? In fact, crime in Washington is now at the lowest level ever recorded, and murders in D.C. this January were down close to 100% from a year ago. They don't like to hear that. One of the brave service members who helped achieve this stunning turnaround was 20-year-old West Virginia Army National Guard Specialist Sarah Beckstrom. After a 4-month deployment, she voluntarily extended her service, and her rank was going to be lifted. She was doing so well. They were so proud of her. But the very next day, she was on patrol near the White House when she was ambushed and shot in the head by a terrorist monster from Afghanistan. Shouldn't have been in our country. And all because she wore the uniform of our nation, she was shot. He traveled here because he didn't like people wearing our uniform. He was sick and deranged, shouldn't have been in our country. Sarah Beckstrom died in order to defend our capital, and we are honored to be joined by her wonderful parents, Gary and Evalie. Your daughter was a true American patriot, and she will be greatly missed. She was a great person. I saw reports on her. They've never seen anything like it. So sorry. Thank you very much. A great young lady. I saw reports that were like, perfect. She was perfect. Serving alongside Sarah that day was Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf. The terrorist shot Andrew in the head, and no one thought he could possibly make it. The two of them, Sarah and Andrew, both shot violently in the head. Neither was expected to make it. They weren't even given a chance, except his wonderful mother, named Melody, who I spoke to the same night, and she was so positive. The doctors thought that Andrew was gone, but his mother said, no, Mr. President, Andrew will be fine. He's going to make it. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, he was given almost no chance. She said, I have no doubt, sir, he's going to be okay. This was a conversation that I had with her that night, with her son laying helplessly in bed, blood all over. Everybody is praying, she said, sir, he will be okay. The doctors didn't understand what she was saying, and after looking at the results of the damage done, neither did I. She was so strong and conclusive that even Andrew's great father felt she didn't really understand the gravity of the situation. But she turned out to be right. Right, Melody? She turned out to be right. Amazing, actually. I said, where does this woman come from? She's the most positive person I've ever met. With God's help, Andrew has battled back from the edge of death, and we're talking about the edge of death, on his way to a miraculous recovery. He's got a little work to do, but he's doing great. Nice to see you. He's a good-looking guy. Nice to see you. Thanks, Andrew. Thank you very much. So, Andrew, while you're up, now I'm going to ask a highly respected General James Seward to present Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf and the great family of Sarah Beckstrom with the award created by our late great President George Washington himself. It's called the Purple Heart. We love you all. Love you. We're proudly restoring safety for Americans at home, and we are also restoring security for Americans abroad. Our country has never been stronger. In my first 10 months, I ended 8 wars, including Cambodia. Isn't it funny? Sick people. Cambodia and Thailand, Pakistan and India. Would have been a nuclear war. 35 million people said the Prime Minister of Pakistan would have died if it were not for my involvement. Kosovo and Serbia, Israel and Iran, Egypt and Ethiopia, Armenia and Azerbaijan, the Congo and Rwanda, and of course the war in Gaza, which proceeds at a very low level. It's just about there. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner for your help. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jared. And I also want to thank the man they report to, Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. People don't like you. You know, Marco got 100% of the votes when he was in confirmation. I think our next one was about 54%. And some of the Democrats are now saying, I can't believe we approved that guy. And he said it's an honor that they feel that way, right, Marco? You have done a great job, great Secretary of State. I think he'll go down as the best ever. Under the ceasefire I negotiated, every single hostage, both living and dead, has been returned home. Can you believe that? Nobody thought it was possible. Nobody thought that was possible. Both living and dead. And those parents who had a dead son, their boy, they'd always tell me their boy, they wanted him as much as though he were living. That was an amazing period of time. And they came back, and when we got all of the living hostages back, and many, many before them, but I always said those last 20 are going to be very tough, but we got many, many more, hundreds. But I said those last 20 are going to be tough. We got them back. But we only got back 14 or 15 of the dead of the 28. And believe it or not, Hamas worked along with Israel, and they dug and they dug and they dug. It's a tough thing to do, going through bodies all over, passing up 100 bodies sometimes for each one that they found. Tough job. And they finally got it back to 27. And then Steve and Jared, they got it back to 28. They found all 28. Nobody thought that was possible, but we did it. And I remember the family of the 28th. They were so grieved, but they were so happy as it's possible to be. They had their boy back. The mother said, "Sir, we have our boy back." What a period of time that was, but we got them all back. So thank you both very much. Great job. And we're working very hard to end the 9th war, the killing and slaughter between Russia and Ukraine, where 25,000 soldiers are dying each and every month. Think of that, 25,000 soldiers are dying a month. A war which would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must. That's why in a breakthrough operation last June, the United States military obliterated Iran's nuclear weapons program with an attack on Iranian soil known as Operation Midnight Hammer. For decades, it had been the policy of the United States never to allow Iran to obtain a nuclear weapon. Many decades. Since they seized control of that proud nation 47 years ago, the regime and its murderous proxies have spread nothing but terrorism and death and hate. They've killed and maimed thousands of American service members and hundreds of thousands and even millions of people with what's called roadside bombs. They were the kings of the roadside bomb. And we took out Soleimani. I did that during my first term. Had a huge impact. He was the father of the roadside bomb. And just over the last couple of months with the protests, they've killed at least, it looks like, 32,000 protesters. 32,000 protesters in their own country. They shot them and hung them. We stopped them from hanging a lot of them with the threat of serious violence. But this is some terrible people. They've already developed missiles that can threaten Europe and our bases overseas, and they're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America. After Midnight Hammer, they were warned to make no future attempts to rebuild their weapons program, and in particular, nuclear weapons. Yet they continue, starting it all over. We wiped it out, and they want to start all over again, and are at this moment again pursuing their sinister ambitions. We are in negotiations with them. They want to make a deal, but we haven't heard those secret words. We will never have a nuclear weapon. My preference is to solve this problem through diplomacy. But one thing is certain, I will never allow the world's #1 sponsor of terror, which they are by far, to have a nuclear weapon. Can't let that happen. And no nation should ever doubt America's resolve. We have the most powerful military on earth. I rebuilt the military in my first term. We're going to continue to do so. Also, we just approved a $1 trillion budget. We have no choice. We have to be strong, because hopefully we will seldom have to use this great power that we built together. It's really called peace through strength, and it's been very, very effective. So thanks to Republican in Congress. We're investing that record number of dollars, have no choice, in the United States Armed Forces. Also creating a lot of jobs, but we're not even doing it for that reason. Because, as I said, we have more jobs, more people working today than ever before in the history of our country. And NATO countries are friends and allies. They are. They're our friends and they're our allies. Have just agreed, at my very strong request, to pay 5% of GDP for military defense rather than the 2%, which they weren't paying. We were paying for almost all of NATO. Now they're paying 5 as opposed to not paying 3. And getting that 5% was something which everyone said would never be done, could not happen. We got it really easily with one meeting. And big difference between 2% that's not paid. We were paying the freight of many of them. Very few were paid up. Now 5%, then they're paid. And everything we send over to Ukraine is sent through NATO, and they pay us in full. They pay us totally in full. Every branch of our armed forces is setting records for recruitment. This is so exciting. And every service member recently. And every service member recently received a warrior dividend of $1,776. You know, they put it on my desk. We got the money from tariffs and other things, a lot of money we have. We have much more money than people understand. Have to rebuild that program a little bit, but it won't take long. But we got the money, and it was $1,775, and they wanted my approval. And I said, what's the number? $1,775. I said, wait a minute. For $1 more, we can have $1,776. It's going to... I said, we're going to figure that. I never asked anybody if we could afford it. $1 more. I said, $1,776. And I said, that's good. And I'll tell you what, our military, that was 4 months ago, our military, I never see a person in the military that doesn't thank me for it, so we're honored to do it. They deserve it. And we call it 1776. It was great. And we love our military. We love our law enforcement. We love our firemen. You know, the firemen don't get mentioned enough. We love our firemen. We're also... We're also restoring American security and dominance in the Western Hemisphere, acting to secure our national interests and defend our country from violence, drugs, terrorism, and foreign interference. For years, large swaths of territory in our region, including large parts of Mexico, really large parts of Mexico, have been controlled by murderous drug cartels. That's why I designated these cartels as foreign terrorist organizations, and I declared illicit fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. And with our new military campaign, we have stopped record amounts of drugs coming into our country and virtually stopped it completely coming in by water or sea. You probably noticed that. We very seriously damaged their fishing industry also. Nobody wants to go fishing anymore. We've also taken down one of the most sinister cartel kingpins of all. You saw that yesterday. In January, elite American warriors carried out one of the most complex, spectacular feats of military competence and power in world history. No one's seen anything like it. Foreign leaders, I won't tell you who, called me and they said, very impressive, very impressive. They couldn't believe, they all watched. They saw what happened. This is a different fighting force that we had years ago when we fought to tie. It's a great fighting force. I'm so proud of it. Look at Space Force. Space Force is my baby. Because we did that, my baby. It's becoming so important.
Cringe, 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 cringe.
And America's armed forces overwhelmed all defenses and utterly defeated an enemy, good fighters, to end the reign of outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro and bring him to face American justice. And this was an absolutely colossal victory for the security of the United States, and it also opens up a bright new beginning for the people of Venezuela. We're working closely with the new president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, to unleash extraordinary economic gains for both of our countries and to bring new hope to those who have suffered so terribly. They really did suffer. With us tonight is Alejandro Gonzalez. She grew up in a tight-knit Venezuelan family and was especially close to her beloved uncle Enrique. But after Enrique ran for office and opposed Maduro, he was kidnapped by Maduro's security forces and thrown into the regime's really infamous prison in Caracas. Alejandro feared she would never see her uncle again. She feared for her own life also. But since the raid, we have worked with the new leadership, and they have ordered the closure of that vile prison and released hundreds of political prisoners already, with more to come. Alejandro, I'm pleased to inform you that not only has your uncle been released, but he is here tonight. We brought him over to celebrate his freedom with you in person. Enrique, please come down. Thank you, Enrique. Have a good time. Nice to have you back, Enrique. There were many heroes on that January raid to capture Maduro. Really great heroes. It was very dangerous. They knew we were coming. They were all set. But the deeds of one warrior that night will live forever in the eternal chronicles of military valor. Chief Warrant Officer 5, Eric Slover, planned the mission and was the flight lead in the cockpit of the first helicopter, a big, beautiful, powerful helicopter. It was a massive Chinook carrying, as you can imagine, many, many American warfighters. Wearing the dog tags, his wife Amy had blessed with holy water before he left. She knew it was going to be a rough one. Eric steered the Chinook under the cover of night and descended swiftly upon Maduro's heavily protected military fortress. This was a major military installation, protected by thousands of soldiers and guarded by Russian and Chinese military technology. How did that work out? Not too good. While preparing to land, enemy machine guns fired from every angle, and Eric was hit very badly in the leg and hip, one bullet after another. He absorbed 4 agonizing shots, shredding his leg into numerous pieces. And yet, despite the fact that the use of his legs was vital to successful helicopter flight, legs are the most important part of flying a helicopter, to deliver the many commandos who would capture and detain Maduro was the only thing Eric was thinking about. Then, even as he was gushing blood, which was flowing back down the aisle, helicopter lands at a steep angle. The machine gun stood right in front of him. They were right in front of him, two machine gunners who escaped the wrath of the previous planes. Eric maneuvered his helicopter with all of those lives and souls to face the enemy and let his gunners eliminate the threat. Turned the helicopter around so the gunners could take care of business, saving the lives of his fellow warriors from what could have been a catastrophic crash deep in enemy territory. Only after safely landing the helicopter with all the warriors aboard in the exact right spot, which was vital to the mission, we probably would have had to maybe cancel the mission if that didn't happen. Eric told his co-pilot, also wounded but not as gravely, to take over. I'm about ready to pass out. The success of the entire mission and the lives of his fellow warriors hinge on Eric's ability to take searing pain. It was unbelievable what's happened to his legs of the bullets and keep on flying and landing, and people knew what was happening. Everybody in the back of the helicopter knew because they saw the blood pouring down the aisle. Chief Warrant Officer Slover is still recovering from his serious wounds, but I'm thrilled to say that he is here tonight with his wife, Amy. Eric and Amy, come on in. So we have a surprise for Eric and Amy. In recognition of Eric's actions above and beyond the call of duty, I would now like to ask General Jonathan Braga to present Chief Warrant Officer Slover with our nation's highest military award, the Congressional Medal of Honor. Well, thank you very much, Eric and Amy. Great to get to know you. I met with them and with a lot of their fellow warriors at Fort Bragg recently. You notice the name Fort Bragg. We have it back. We brought it back. We won the First World War with it, the Second World War with it, and then they decided to change the name. So we changed it back. Everybody wanted to change back, too. And 10 of Eric's fellow warriors from that incredible night of victory will also be receiving medals at a private ceremony that will soon be held at the White House, and Eric will be there. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. That's a big one. Tonight we've celebrated many truly extraordinary American patriots, but there is one last living legend to honor before we go. He is one more heroic American aviator, Navy fighter pilot. Royce Williams served in World War II, Korea, Vietnam, flying more than 220 missions. In the skies over Korea in 1952, Royce was in the dogfight of a lifetime, legendary dogfight. Flying through blizzard conditions, his squadron was ambushed by 7 Soviet fighter planes. It was his first aerial combat of the war, and despite being massively outnumbered and outgunned, Royce led the takedown of 4 enemy jets and almost destroyed the others, vanquishing his adversaries while taking 263 bullets to his own plane and being seriously hurt. His story was secret for over 50 years. He didn't even want to tell his wife, but the legend grew and grew. But tonight, at 100 years old, this brave Navy captain is finally getting the recognition he deserves. He was a legend long before this evening. Royce, please stand up, and I will ask the First Lady of the United States to present Captain Royce Williams with his Congressional Medal of Honor. Thank you, Royce, and thank you, Eric. I've always wanted the Congressional Medal of Honor, but I was informed I'm not allowed to give it to myself, and I wouldn't know why I'd be taking it, but if they ever open up that law, I will be there with you someday. But, you know, that's our highest honor, Congressional Medal of Honor, and that's a big thing, and it's an honor to be in the same room with you. Thank you both very much, Eric. Thank you. Thank you. 250 years is a long time in the life of a nation, but in another sense, it's really a mere moment in the eye of history. 2 of the gentlemen we met in the gallery this evening took their first breaths 1 century ago, 100 years before that, on July 4th, 1826, the author of the Declaration of Independence, brilliant, Thomas Jefferson, drew his last breath. Just a single long human lifespan separates the giants who declared and won our independence from the heroes who stand among us tonight. Everything our nation has done, everything we have achieved, has been the work of those few great lifetimes. In those brief chapters, Americans built this nation from 13 humble colonies into the pinnacle of human civilization and human freedom, the strongest, wealthiest, most powerful, most successful nation in all of history. Americans ventured out across the daunting and dangerous continent. We carved paths through an unforgiving wilderness, settled a boundless frontier, and tamed the beautiful but very, very dangerous Wild West. From empty marshes and wide open plains, we raised up the world's greatest cities. Together we mastered the world's mightiest industries and shattered history's monstrous tyrannies. And we liberated millions from the chains of fascism, communism, oppression, and terror. Americans lifted humanity into the skies on the wings of aluminum and steel. And then we launched mankind into the stars on rockets powered by sheer American will and unyielding American pride. We wired the globe with our ingenuity. We captivated the planet with American culture. And now we are pioneering the next great American breakthroughs that will change the entire world. All of this and so much more is the enduring legacy, unmatched glory of the hardworking patriots who built and defended this country and who still carry the hopes and freedoms on all of humanity's backs. For years they were forgotten, betrayed, and cast aside. But that great betrayal is over, and they will never be forgotten again. Because when the world needs courage, daring, vision, and inspiration, it is still turning to America. And when God needs a nation to work his miracles, he knows exactly who to ask. There is no challenge Americans cannot overcome, no frontier too vast for us to conquer, no dream too bold for us to chase, no horizon too distant for us to claim. For our destiny is written by the hand of providence, and these first 250 years were just the beginning. From the rugged border towns of Texas to the heartland villages of Michigan, from the sun-kissed shores of Florida to the endless fields of the Dakotas, and from the historic streets of Philadelphia to right here in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., the golden age of America is upon us. The revolution that began in 1776 has not ended. It still continues because the flame of liberty and independence still burns in the heart of every American patriot. And our future will be bigger, better, brighter, bolder, and more glorious than ever before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
President, that was a home run.
Mr. President. Hey. Okay, you too. All right. You're the best.
Good job.
Thank you, friend.
Very well done, sir.
I just want to hear all the brown nosing. I want to hear how many people just are like going to fawn. Sycophant.
Good job. Good man.
Thank you.
Excellent speech, Mr. President.
Excellent.
Well, I guess that's it. Dang. I was just starting to enjoy myself there listening to that melodious voice that just lulls us into a state of euphoria. You know, hope, even though it doesn't seem like it, even though everything seems to be opposite, even though they say it's coming, it's trust the plan, $5,000 stimulus check coming, don't worry, we're going to find all kinds of treasure that's been hidden in all of our government institutions and all the corruption. Doge is going to pull it out. We're going to give you $5,000 every citizen stimulus check. But wait, we didn't find anything. Oops, sorry. $2,000 stimulus check. Don't worry, it's coming. We're going to get all kinds of tariff money coming in. We're going to be rich, 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 hot economy. You're all going to get a stimulus check because you know our economy really needs it. But hey, eggs are down and gas is down in just a few places in America. Most of it's still $3 or $4 a gallon. But hey, once the war starts, it's going to be up there around $6 to $8 to $10 a gallon, I'm sure. Strait of Hormuz shuts off. But when they say peace and security and peace, then sudden destruction. So, you know, this seems like a mantra of peace and security I've been hearing. It just seems to have escalated into to a crescendo here with the Board of Peace. The 7 heads and the 10 horns right there on the board, the top tier board. Trump being the chairman of the board. You got the top tier 7 and you got the middle tier 10. And you got the lower tier, which is the administrative. But that's what the Bible says would happen. 7 heads, 10 horns. But anyways, I mean, people don't really look at through the smoke and mirrors. They just like to listen to the hopium. It's interesting how I can sit back and listen and watch people. They hear one thing and other people see and hear another thing. It's like two separate, perceptions of what's reality. And what they may be listening to is a reality, but it'll end in a terrible outcome. It's kind of like the reality of standing in front of a train saying it's not really there, but it's coming right for you. But hey, you've got headphones on and you're listening to a beautiful song and dance, and you're not really listening to what's coming behind you, and somebody's trying to get your attention to get off the railroad tracks. But you know what? Your reality is your reality. And you're not going to move no matter what until it's too late. But the scripture says the wise see trouble coming and get out of the way, and the foolish continue on and suffer for it. So if you're one of those people out there that just wants to put your hope and trust in this world and hope that Trump knows what he's doing, because he is a, apex type A alpha top dog boaster extraordinaire like we've never seen before in the history of the world, and that makes you feel good. Well, you try boasting like that in your world and see how many people, unless you've got money and you've got the power to manipulate, institutions and economies, and you've got help from on low. I was going to say on high, but somewhere in the middle there, not the third heaven, but you're getting help in the second heaven somewhere. Who knows what powers they're colluding with, but as long as you can manipulate the minds and the hearts, and you can, have the greatest miracle that's ever been seen on God's green earth, warp speed and that pharmakia, that's what it is. It's a sorcery. The Bible says pharmakia is sorcery. So to push that and to love it and to say it's good and to tell everybody to take it, even in spite of the base not liking it, just like they're not liking the Epstein disclosures, but they're still going to swallow it. They're still going to go along with it. Even if they didn't actually take it, they're just going to overlook it. Just pretend like it didn't happen. Just pretend like he's still not really pushing mRNAs, even though he's doubling down, tripling down. Everything is going to be mRNA now. They're going to have the whole vaccine schedule as mRNA. But hey, that doesn't bother you because, hey, technology is where it is, right? You trust technology. You trust these technocrats that look like they're on drugs that surround Trump. You don't mind that, right? They're not globalists. They really care for you. They really want to make your life easier. And all that imported beef coming from these weird countries that you trust that beef, you're going to eat that beef. Do you know that's probably in that beef? They probably fed a bunch of dead cows to the cows that you're going to be eating. They don't have regulations like they do here in America. And even our regulations are probably not good. They're shooting them up with all kinds of steroids and vaxes and hormones and everything else. And you wonder why 80% of the American population is obese. You go around to other countries, they're not looking like this. You know, they're not looking like our population. They don't, I mean, people are gaining weight all over the world because of the food, but not like America because they pump us up with all kinds of terrible stuff. Other countries don't even feed their populations the stuff that we have. They won't even import our chickens. They don't want our chickens in other parts of the country, or other parts of the world, I should say, other parts of the world. They won't import our, they don't, you know, rubber stamp the chemicals that we put in our food, the kind of food that they use. Their food is not like our food. And it's sad, but, you know, Americans are so dumbed down and fluoridated out that they think fluoride is good for them. And, you know, they've been sold a whole bunch of bill of goods. And then you got people that are supposed to be standing up for the American people that have been blowing the whistle like Alex Jones, all now controlled opposition, even admitting it himself that he's controlled opposition. At least he said he was unknowingly controlled opposition during the first term of Trump. And then he flips around after he's called Trump out, and then he all of a sudden is on Team Trump again because his network got saved. You know, Trump was going to save his network as long as he, you know, towed the party line and didn't go rogue and didn't keep exposing. As long as he was doing what he was supposed to do, he wasn't going to lose everything and go to jail. So he chose to sell him his soul. And he's not going to talk about any of that anymore. So everybody that's on the board with Alex Jones, you're basically controlled opposition. A lot of good stuff. I'm not saying that there's not a lot of good stuff that's being said. I mean, hey, you know, I get it. You like the military. You loved America. This is our country. And everything was somewhat stable and peaceful for a period of time when you grew up. That's great. But it's not going to be like that now going forward. I just hope you're all ready for what's about to hit the fan. Because Trump is leading, and it's been an ongoing process that's been unfolding, and Trump is just the capstone. He's like the Eye of Horus. You know, he's the Apollo incarnate. You want to say Osiris rising ritual? That's exactly what happened in the Capitol, and Trump was the embodiment of that purpose that they had gained, that they had destined for America to be the new Atlantis. By the way, there's a channel called I'm trying to remember. Y-Files. Have you ever seen that channel called the Y-Files? They got the little fish. Well, he recently uploaded, I think it was this last week, a high-level Mason, and he's also a, what do they call it? Oh, shoot. What were the one with the cross? The ancient order of the cross. I forget what it was. Back in the 1100s. Oh, geez. What was the name of that? It's not the Knights of Malta. It's anyway. It was a very interesting interview with this guy that was very high level. He still is very high level, and he goes into all the details about the origins and confirming a lot of things that I've done study on about America and its purpose and its foundations and what we really were destined to become from our inception. And it's really not a Christian nation. A lot of people would say, oh, we're a Christian nation. Oh, we've had Christian influences. We've had Christian leaders that have, tried to influence government. But government here in America was founded upon Masonic and Rosicrucian and Masonic principle, occult ideology. It's a wedding of the mystery religions and maybe some morality that comes from biblical traditions. But really, it's all really steeped in occultism. And so if you go back to the origins of what America was intended to be and where it is now, it's fulfilling its mission. And this is the end game. This is the capstone. This is where you see on the back of the dollar, you see the capstone up there with the little eye, and the pyramid, and the order out of chaos. Well, it's the order, many plural order of, how does it say it? I'm trying to remember now exactly what it says there on the back. Order. I'm trying to remember what it says there. It says, it says here, Nova Ordo Seclorum, which means new order of the ages. So America was to usher in the new order of the ages. And there's a lot of interesting background on some of that symbolism and messaging that's been embedded within our government, institutions, and our architecture. And, just look at what Trump's doing with all the new architecture. He basically is mandating that all government buildings that are being structured and or built are Roman architecture, basically Roman architecture. And, and following that pattern and that model. But really, if you know your Bible, you're basically a little bit further ahead. And I don't just say know your Bible. I say know the Lord, the author of the Bible. You're going to understand where this is all really going, even more so than those that are elite, esoteric occultists that might be tapped into the higher powers that understand, what's unfolding. Yeah, the beast is going to wear down the saints in the last days externally in terms of their resources and their power structure and the way that they control information and movement and everything else. But they're not going to overcome their spirit. They're not going to overcome their relationship with God. They're not going to overcome the miracle signs and wonders that are going to be demonstrated by the witnesses that are the church. Really, the two witnesses are the church. I believe that represents the miracles of Moses and the miracles of Elijah in the last day. And this is what we're seeing happening right now. You're seeing God raising up his people as the evil comes in. It says the enemy comes in like a flood. The Spirit of the Lord will raise up a standard against him. And this is not evil coming in like a flood. I'm telling you, a flood of deception. And this is the hallmark of the last days. Great deception by leaders, especially that one particular leader that controls everything on planet Earth and begins to gain power and momentum, rolling over nations with this military might and power, and is able to manipulate economies and devour economies and cannibalize economies and continue this juggernaut of evil until the very last moment. That's exactly what's coming. And you're going to see probably America's going to probably be the catalyst to all that unfolding end time scenario. And and I think we're going to see some pretty horrendous things unfold here real soon. Now, what's going to happen with the Iran thing? Is there going to be an Iran war? Well, this is all for the setup of this global institution, which we call the beast system, and that America seems to be spearheading in a certain sense. We're kind of facilitating and we're the catalyst behind this global influence, which would be marked by a global peace order. And this is exactly what we're seeing shape up right now. The royal tents that are pitched between the Holy Mount and the sea is what we see as a end time scenario. And we got that not only in the Saudi Arabian area right there between Mount Sinai and the seas, but we also have it right there between the Mediterranean and Jerusalem and the Holy Mount, Temple Mount, right? There's a Holy Mount that is the Mount Sinai, and there's a Holy Mount that's the Temple Mount. So literally those tents are being pitched, and we're watching the unfolding scenario of those nations gathering. And that's exactly what's happening. He's gathering nations right there on the doorstep of Israel. So if you don't see what's happening, and by the way, they're rolling out digital ID here in America right now with this new thing. What happened with the honey? What was that last article we just saw about how they're rolling out the Bitcoin or the crypto and how it's going to be nationalized in terms of banking, because they're transitioning us into a crypto-based economy. So your money is about to change, guys, and I think we're about to see a crash like we've never seen before. And this is going to be the excuse, and this is going to be the reason for the transition into crypto, digital, which is going to be a tracking, tracing system, which I think there might be a possibility that this whole talk now in the last week of this new pandemic, bird flu, they're pumping this up all over the world right now. This might be the beginning of that transition that's going to be attached to your biometric ID. So you're going to have your digital money attached to your digital ID, and you're going to be forced into it. You're not going to be able to do buy or sell. You're not going to be able to travel. This could be something that's really bad with people dying like never before, because they say this bird flu, when it gets to humans, it's 50% lethal. Like it's 50-50. You're going to have a 50-50 chance of dying. So it's already affecting all these different animals all over the country, all over the world. It's not just in America. It's happening in other parts of the world. So I would say, let me see if I can find that article. And by the way, somebody said, let's see, has it been an hour and a half? It's been almost 2 hours. Okay. I'll read you something that's kind of interesting. So it says how the World Health Organization, the WHO is the World Health Organization, dictated the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's already dictating the coming bird flu pandemic. The WHO, World Health Organization, is right now orchestrating a coming avian influenza, quote unquote, bird flu pandemic. The WHO has already, and let me just read this to you. Let me just put this on the screen so you can see this. Let's take a look. So it says here that where am I at here? Oh, I'm on the wrong one. Okay, we'll get to that one too. So here it is. It says the WHO has already established a World Health Organization back, and by the way, you can find this on our Telegram channel with all the links that support everything that's being said here. Everything that you see here on the screen can be clicked on to go to the source, okay? So everything's backed up. Established a WHO-backed influenza command framework that merges governance, operational authority, and outbreak response assets into a single controlling entity for the next pandemic cycle. This is all the things that they're preparing for now under the Trump administration and the Global World Health Organization. Approved, and by the way, when Trump said in the first administration that he wasn't a globalist and he proved it by pulling out of the World Health Organization, that was just smoke and mirrors. That was a shell game. All they did was they took the money and they put it into Gavi. And Gavi works very closely with the World Health Organization. And it's a Bill Gates backed, vaccine kind of, global organization that's facilitating all of this new mRNA technology and digital, everything that's connected to your digital ID in person, right? And this is exactly what Gavi, it's GAVI. So he put in all that money, and then he added another 3 times as much as he was giving World Health Organization, and then told his base, hey, we're not globalists. Look, we're pulling out of World Health Organization, right? And so everybody was like, yay, we're not globalists. Look, Trump is our man. This was in 2018, 19, going into, because a lot of what his legislation was in pre-COVID was in preparation for when COVID hit. So it was all laid out. It was almost like they knew what was coming. Right. But when it all hit, we kind of pulled out of that whole World Health Organization thing as a kind of cover. It's kind of like smoke and mirrors. And so many people don't see the smoke and mirrors. And that's the problem. I see past all of the happy talk and the emotional, pulling on your heartstrings kind of talk. Hey, I don't have a problem with giving medals and recognizing military and everything else. But when it's made to try to control a narrative and get you prepared for something that they're about to do, and it's sleight of hand and underhanded, then it's irritating. It's a deception. I don't like deception. I'd rather it be very clear and understand. But people that live by the father of lies, and really, what is it Jesus said was the father of lies? He only his native language, his tongue, his only way of communicating is lying. Okay, this is why the signs and wonders are called lying signs and wonders, because they're deception. That's his mode of communication. It's always deceptive. But it may look like the truth. It may come like an angel of light, but it's inwardly a ravenous beast. So it's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and you don't recognize what's really underneath until you really understand the nature of things. And the only way that happens is you got to get your information from the true God of heaven, right? If you don't have that helper, you don't have that spirit of the Lord in your heart revealing to you what's truth, then you're not going to see it. You're going to go along with the narrative, and you're going to find out, like that guy on the train track, after you've been hit. It's just like everybody that invested into Bitcoin because Trump and his sons were kept pumping it up, and they put all their money in, about 100,000 to pump it up to 120. And they kept telling everybody, it's going to go to 1 million. It's going to go to 1 million. It's going to go to 1 million. This is a happy talk. Whenever you see something going up, you better be careful, because that's about the time when it's going to crash. And you don't want to be caught into that cycle of going up in the wave, because that wave's about to crash. All right. So everybody that got in when Trump was promoting it really hard, his sons were promoting Bitcoin, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. I said, you guys, anybody in Bitcoin, you better get out, because I don't like this. This is going to crash. And look what happened. Anybody that bought in up there lost half their money already. It's already down to almost 60,000. So it was 124. So all I'm saying is, when they're telling you peace and security, you better get ready. You better get ready for suddenlies, destruction, as it says, sudden destruction, suddenlies. The trap will catch the whole world. It says the whole world will be caught in that trap, and a trap springs suddenly and very quickly. And all I'm saying is, you better have a heads up before it hits, because it'll be too late once it snaps. Once the trap snaps, it's over. You're done. Everything everything stops. Everything was just like that one guy said. They said this guy was, he's a rocket scientist. He really is a rocket scientist, but he's kind of overgrown hair. And he looks kind of like a hippie, but he's a smart guy. And he said he's a prepper. He has like a worm farm. It kind of reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. Got the worm farm, but this guy's really smart. He understands what worms do and how your soil and everything else is sustaining life. He understands that. But he was talking about how, when everything goes off and goes down, what you have is all you're going to have, because you're not going to get anything else. So you better be ready for when everything does hit the fan, for that period of chaos, because they need that period of chaos. And that chaos is coming like a freight train. Now, there may be some order that comes out of it, their order, but I think there's going to be a very disruptive period of time before that real controlling order comes in with the digital, everywhere everybody submits. Nobody's going to submit until it's chaotic. That's when everybody gets afraid. The fear is what's going to cause everybody to submit. Right now, they're giving you happy talk, hopium talk. They're trying to get you bonded with their smooth words. I noticed when Trump, he talks like this and he gets into that mode where he just kind of gets, he's really animated at the beginning, but then all of a sudden he gets into that meditative talking, and his spirit, his words just get kind of like this, and it was have you noticed as he gets really like, he has like a monotone voice. It almost sounds like a hypnotic kind of tone when he just starts talking. And have you noticed how he clicked into that? What during his speech, he kind of went into that monotone kind of chant. It almost reminds me of like a chant, almost like the way he talks, and it almost makes you feel sleepy, like when you're sitting there listening to him. I mean, I just felt sleepy listening to him. It's like I could just go and just like zone out and turn my brain off while I'm listening to him talk like that. But there's a reason why he does that. Yeah, it's a smooth talker, right? That's why they call it a smooth talker. But anyways, it goes on to say the WHO is backed, established a WHO-backed, World Health Organization-backed influenza command framework that merges governance, operational authority, and outbreak response assets into a single controlling entity for the pandemic cycle. Now, that's pretty interesting because they're going to use AI to do all that too. And that's going to be all like a centralized kind of control system that's going to be governing the whole planet's. This is going to be something totally different than what we saw in 2020. A lot more controls, a lot more, coordination. But it goes on to say, approved a WHO Gates influenza. This is what the WHO organization global is doing right now. They're approving a WHO-Gate influenza adjacent global digital ID and surveillance architecture designed to track vaccination status and population compliance across borders during respiratory virus campaigns. They're also going to they're running, or they've ran, pre-COVID compliance testing programs tied to future influenza vaccine deployment. Now, a lot of what COVID was a preliminary kind of trial and or preparation for the next one that's coming. Remember when they interviewed Gates and his wife and they said, oh, don't worry, the next one's going to be much worse. And they kind of laughed and they looked at each other. Yeah, they were talking about the next pandemic. It says, and everybody will comply on that one, they said. Yeah, everybody's going to comply on that one. But it says they're going to be using CDC, Gates, and Oxford-linked institutions to model population behavior toward lower quality vaccine years before SARS-CoV-2. To model population behavior towards lower quality vaccines. Let me see what this is. What the heck was that all about? Let me just see something here. It says here that the WHO, CDC, Gates, and Oxford were used to test public compliance. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. They were used to test public compliance strategies for lower quality vaccines before any COVID-19 jabs existed. So PLOS Globe Public Health Journal. This was according to the PLOS Globe Public Health Journal. So like I said, if you want to get to the base of all these articles, you could just click on the links there. It says the WHO also activated a future pandemic plan positioning U.S. labs inside a WHO-directed influenza sentinel surveillance network, preserving global monitoring operations even after the U.S. attempted withdrawal. You see that? I think that might have been when we tried to withdraw. They deployed a national influenza surveillance grid in Egypt under WHO authority, installing 30 sentinel sites and training 270 officers for real-time detection, reporting, and response. They constructed an international influenza pathogen sharing command center, enabling rapid transfer of H5 and other high-risk influenza samples for sequencing, analysis, and vaccine design under centralized WHO control. Simultaneously, governments all over the world are performing reverse genetics, gain-of-function experiments on and developing countermeasure vaccines for bird flu, see links below, just as they were before the COVID pandemic. The Trump administration has been, quote, actively participating in WHO bird flu seminars, despite the president's January 2025 executive order to withdraw from the organization. And that active participation is chronicled right here. And it's all right there. You can find all the information you need to confirm what they're doing. And most people don't see all this because they don't want to look. They don't want to do the research. And it seems to go contrary to the narrative that most people believe that are what you would call the base, right? The administration's $500 million Generation Gold Standard platform is focused on bird flu vaccine development. If the WHO repeats its COVID plan with avian influenza, we will see the same rapid lockstep activation of a pre-built command system, instant acceptance of an unverified digital genome, accelerated vaccine development, suppressed dissent, and a global population maneuver once again into mandatory genetic countermeasures before independent validation is possible. And that's really possible because they've got everything already laid out, and our government has been facilitating this alongside with what they're doing, trying to keep our population compliant by pretending like we're not really going along with it, when in reality, we're actually doing the same thing, developing programs that are actually working together with the World Health Organization as well. So, you know, and the whole thing about the UN, this is like a handoff to the world, to the Board of Peace. It's the same kind of concept. It's actually the same thing that's been going on for a while, now just developing into a new. It's kind of like, for instance, when you have a business that's done bad business, they go out of business, or they say they're going out of business, and they say, oh, you know, we're selling off everything, and then they got new management or new ownership. All they did was they just changed the name, wash, repeat, you know, wash, rinse, and repeat. And that's kind of what it's doing now. It went from World War I, League of Nations, to the United Nations in World War II, World War III, United Nations transitioning into the Board of Peace. Now, Trump is the undisputed leader without having, you know, nation states that have their turn. He's going to be the arbiter of global peace without any kind of, you know, other leader. He's the undisputed arbiter of peace over this global institution that he's created to bring peace to the whole world. That, to me, looks just like what the Bible said would happen with this end time person that the Bible speaks about that would bring about all these wars. And he has a lot of characteristics that seem to line up. I'm just saying, you might want to check that out, especially when he says this: I'm coming to bring eternal peace in the Middle East. Eternal peace. Eternal peace, really? Eternal peace. We can do it. We can bring eternal peace. And, you know, the prophets have said, the prophets have said this, that the end of the world will happen in the Middle East. I will not let that happen. You know, Jesus is supposed to return. This is basically what Trump is saying. When he says that he will not let the end times happen in the Middle East, according to what the prophecies have said, he's basically saying, I'm not going to allow Jesus to return to the Mount of Olives to bring about a conclusion to the end of the world. He's going to be the one that does it. Donald Trump is going to be the one that stops the wars. He's going to be the one that brings eternal peace to the Middle East and the world. You know, this is right out of Trump's own mouth. And you're telling me that doesn't sound blasphemous? That doesn't sound like what the Bible says would happen in the last days? You need to start reading your Bible and praying and asking God to show you if this is truly lining up with biblical prophecy, because I'm going to tell you right now, it is on so many levels that I haven't even been able to share with so many. A lot of you guys that have been following the channel, there's a few of you that's been really plugged in and really listening. But the majority are here just for the news and whatever else they're here for, you know, the conversation or whatever. They're just interested and they're kind of checking out different things. But the people that have really been following this channel for any length of time now know that these different events that have unfolded, especially over the last 5 years, have fit very perfectly with end time prophecies in the interpretation that I believe is more accurate than some of the other prophecy teachers that you've been listening to, conventional interpretations. Okay, so there's a lot of people out there that have interpretations of the timeline, the end time timeline. I'm going to tell you what, some of those are good, some of those interpretations, but they've got things discombobulated. Their timelines are off. Especially if they're pre-trib, they're going to be putting the cart before the horse. And you might not be getting it because you think that the Antichrist is going to be like this or like this, when in reality, the Bible says that God would hand people over because they'd have a heart that's idolatrous to believe a lie. He's going to let them believe a lie and be deceived. And some would say, well, why would God deceive you into taking the mark or going along with the beast? Because you rebelled against God, and maybe you were a Pharisee, maybe you were like Ananias and Sapphira, maybe you pretended like you were going along with God's kingdom, but in your heart, God already knew that you had already betrayed his plan for your life, and you rejected him, and you turned your heart and hardened it. And so he just hands you over to believe a lie, and you're going to go along cheerleading in the end times and the leader of this beast kingdom. You're going to think you're doing God's service. But anyways, hopefully you guys all understand this. I really hope that you guys are all understanding what I'm talking about here. I'm looking at some of your guys' comments here. I want to get back over here and see what you guys are saying here. Pretty preachy. Josh, pretty preachy, I know. Are you talking about me or are you talking about Trump? Somebody was saying something about Trump. Preach, Trump, preach. And I thought that it said impeach, Trump, impeach. I'm not preachy. Am I preachy? Yeah, I am probably. Sometimes I get on that little thing. Oh, you know what? I'm not even on the screen here. What am I doing? How did I switch over? Was I on this screen the whole time? You got to be kidding me. Am I still on here? Okay, I still am. Okay. Oh, I see what I was doing. Okay, so I missed. I was going over some of this other information. Okay, gotcha. I was wondering what happened there. Okay, so then we got this one here, the dystopian future of AI and the digital ID. Was this mine? Okay, from vaccine passports to digital control. This film explains the digital ID system, which is the completion of the mark of the beast, from China's social credit system to the West's growing digital ID programs. And like I said, they're preparing. No, honey, this article is what I was looking for. That article that just came out in the last few days that talks about how we're merging. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so she found it. Thank you, honey. Okay, so here it is right here. So crypto.com. So if you look at this post right here, crypto.com receives conditional approval to operate as a national U.S. crypto bank. So they're moving things toward nationalizing and really getting people into this mindset of using crypto as opposed to cash. This is why the penny, I think, represents the end of our cash system. Really, that's what the penny really truly represents, I think. Because I think they're getting prepared to pull the plug on everything. Now, if you have money, and I'm just going to tell you this right straight out, if you're a person that has invested heavily into paper assets, I don't care what it is, it can overnight change and then all of a sudden turn into something that it's not. And I don't care what it is, bonds, stocks, savings in your bank, even the paper and gold, paper, what they call paper. They'll just pay you back in inflated dollars They're not going to give you no gold or silver. And everything will change very quickly and rapidly. Even people that are holding silver and gold, you're going to have to do something in order to, and this is why I'm all about prepping, but the prepping, as I said, is only an outward kind of message. It's kind of like when Jesus said, foxes have holes and birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has not a place to lay his head. He was talking about, obviously, he had a place to sleep. He was an itinerant. Yeah, he was an itinerant, but he was invited in. He was obviously, had hospitality from different followers and those who believed and listened to his message. And obviously, he had bases where he went to, where he had a place where he lived at certain points. But what it represented was something spiritual. And so what I say to you outwardly in the sense of you prepping or your understanding of what you need to do to get through this world, it's very temporal, but still we live and occupy until he does come or until it's time to go. Everybody has a time. Everybody has a purpose and a destiny. And in order to find that destiny, you really need to seek. You really need to pray. And so I'm not telling you to just put your hope in this world and put all your money into preps. I'm just telling you, transition for now to make sure you secure whatever time is left and be wise. Don't be foolish with the resources that you have, but use those resources in the time that you have left to facilitate the message of the kingdom. Amen. And however you do that, through your own personal testimony or your own ministry network, you get plugged into a ministry network that you know is doing a good job, and you support and you fund it. Okay, but don't let your earthly treasures turn into dust. Invest them for eternal treasure, because that's what it's kind of like. Jesus taught this principle of taking your finances and making for yourselves friends for eternity, right? You can transition. It's almost like being an alchemist. You take something and turn it into something that's going to last forever, right? It's kind of like getting out of fiat currency and putting it into gold and silver. When the whole economy crashes, you still have a storehouse of value and treasure, right? It's still the same buying power that it would have been. Now, obviously, if everything falls apart, then the whole country goes into war, and it doesn't matter at that point. But, if we were to go into a great recession or a depression, that ounce of gold would transition into the new economy, and it would still be valuable, and it would still hold its value. There's a story that was told in the German Weimar Republic where there was this guy that was a doorman at a hotel, and some rich guy came in and threw him a gold coin, right, at the time of the Weimar Republic before it really crashed. And he had this gold coin, and once the whole Weimar Republic crashed, this gold coin turned into so much wealth and it was so valuable that he was able to buy the hotel that he actually was a doorman in. I forget how, but you understand that the value of your money will be held when everything else is devalued if you have it in something that's tangible. Now, I say gold, silver, and precious stones relates to your eternal treasure. Lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, it says, where moth and rust don't corrupt and thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So if your treasure is in this world, then your heart's going to be connected to the world. But if your treasure is in heaven, your heart's going to be there. Your conversation's going to be there. Your source of strength and wisdom and everything that you are, your identity is going to come from there, right? The author of that eternal kingdom. So let God do his. This is why it's so important to know the difference between real riches, which sustain your life, right? You're not redeemed by gold and silver. You're redeemed by the precious blood of the Lamb. And what did Peter and Paul say to the man that was crippled? He was looking for some money. He's like, he couldn't see it. He was probably crippled. He was sitting at the gate of the temple. And Peter and John said to him, silver and gold we don't have, but what we do have, we offer you. Rise up and walk. And so their treasure was that they had the power to heal this man, and he got up and walked. Now, what is that worth? There's nothing on this earth that's worth having health and well-being given to you, which a doctor probably couldn't have done. It was a genuine miracle. So the church today can say, yeah, silver and gold we have, but we can't say rise up and walk. But is the church going to ever get back to the place where it knows the Lord and can say, rise up and walk? So do you have the power to bring people in to a place where they're right with God and where maybe their physical bodies are healed or their soul is healed, where their soul gets right and has peace from the Most High for eternity? I mean, that's really what's the treasure, right? Isn't that the treasure? Amen. And we have a bunch of people here that love the Lord, that are here hanging out, that are not going to give into trickery and lies and deception and spiritual counterfeits, and aren't going to be preaching a gospel that's not the true gospel, right? Paul said there was another Jesus, another faith, another spirit, not the spirit that we came with. It was a different spirit, but it came preaching another Jesus and another gospel. And so that's a counterfeit Jesus. There's counterfeit gospels or counterfeit Jesus. Jesus said in the last day, they're going to be coming in my name saying, I am the Christ, and they're going to deceive many. This is going to be the hallmark of the last day. Great deception. And at 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 says there's going to be a great falling away right before this revelation begins to reveal who that man of sin is, that man of lawlessness. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, when that revelation of who that man of lawlessness is dawns on the whole world, you're going to have a watered-down faith that's going to fall away from true commitment and devotion to God. It may not look like it outwardly. In fact, it may look like a great revival. Germany, right before all hell broke loose in World War II, the Protestant church had a great revival. They believed that the leader of Germany was bringing about a revival. And we were talking about the Lutherans. I think they were the Lutherans. But there was a small remnant of confessing believers. They called them the confessing church. I think they called them the confessing church, who understood what was actually happening, and they were warning, and they were persecuted. Some of them were thrown in prison for going against what was happening with the government. But this false revival that was brought about by some kind of renaissance of Germany. I mean, you had the economy roaring back. You had what seemed like the cleanup of society. You had a rebuilding of the military very quickly. All this investment was coming back to Germany, which we would call corporatism or fascism, and it was coming through corporations. But it turned on a dime. But yeah, look what the outcome was, right? I think that was a precursor to what we see going on now. And it's kind of an overlay of what you can expect to be under a technological evil that would be on our... See, that happened really quickly in the 40s, the 30s and the 40s with no technology. Can you imagine how fast something like that can happen now with the technology we have today? I mean, they would have loved to have that kind of surveillance and tracking and the ability to do things. They would have probably rolled over the whole planet, took over the whole world, if they had technology like we do today. Germany got played? Yeah. Well, I'll just tell you what, the whole thing with the German, and Hitler was on drugs. He was on huge amounts of drugs. And they were doing these occult rituals in the high command. If you really study what went on there, and a lot of history, what we were being told about is not really what actually was going on. But the gist of what actually came about was for a purpose, and it was a part of the plan of, to show us what would come. It's like cyclical history is going to be repeating itself as time goes on. But the deception is that we still don't really know what really was going on during World War II. Our revisionist history and the writing of history goes to the victor. And so we really don't know the corruption that we ourselves were participating in. I mean, we basically embraced the whole high command of the Nazis in Operation Paperclip. I mean, we had certain ones that we prosecuted and that we put through Nuremberg as a show, but the majority of what was going on there in the Secret Service and all the experiments and the high command intelligence and their military rocket program and all their scientists, we had them all come into America because we didn't want the Russians to take them. We wanted all that knowledge. We wanted as much information as we could get from what they learned, because it was pretty dark and evil. But we embraced that spirit and we incorporated it into our program, whether it was our NASA program or our intelligence or programs. And so yep. Well, I hope you all are getting all this, but here, maybe we can watch this really quick, because this is a good illustration of what I'm talking about here with the digital ID here. Take a listen to this and tell me what you think about this. Let's take a listen to this here real quick. Let me get this set up here. Okay, here, check this out. Here we go.
Every adult will need a new government-issued digital ID.
A digital ID.
Having all of your personal information stored in one place.
We will spare no effort to make Europe an AI continent.
To integrate you into this great reset.
So how soon could central bank digital currencies become a reality?
We should be helping countries to develop a national digital infrastructure.
Imagine every purchase you make, every app you use, every place you visit, all contributing to a single digital profile, a personal digital identity. This way, many details of your life could be stored in a unified digital record. That profile might eventually connect with your bank, your doctor, your employer, government agencies, and even your car.
To deal with challenges, but also to build at the same time.
This isn't science fiction. It's a vision that organizations like the World Economic Forum are advocating, and that governments and tech companies are gradually moving toward. The rollout of this digital ID infrastructure is truly global and coordinated. Oracle founder and billionaire Larry Ellison emphasizes the need to feed AI systems an immense amount of all available government data.
For what government should do in terms of its digital infrastructure, digital ID, data centers, and so on.
The first thing a country needs to do is to unify all of their data so it can be consumed and used by the AI model. Basically, I have to tell the AI model as much about my country as I can. If you want to improve population health, you have to take all of your healthcare data, your diagnostic data, your electronic health records, your genomic data.
The benefits are clear. Digital ID will make our interactions with each other and with the state faster, cheaper, and more reliable.
Stay with me. This isn't some distant future. Steps toward it are already underway.
Facial recognition can now spot suspects in real time from live video, tracking organized criminals at borders, in public spaces, even helping find missing people.
There are cameras on top of the van that scan everyone's faces as they walk past.
Tony Blair is a technocrat. He believes basically that the people at the top need to decide everything themselves. And if you could have total control over everybody, everything would be wonderful. This is the Chinese model.
Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison predicts AI surveillance will be part of our everyday lives in the future. Ellison said AI will soon play a major role in monitoring society through a vast network of interconnected cameras.
The police will be on their best behavior because we're constantly watching and recording everything that's going on. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
But what it will do is create the digital control infrastructure, which then lays the groundwork for all your activities and all of your behavior to be managed by the government and for you to be rewarded or disincentivized in relation to certain behavior. That is the Chinese social credit system, where if you are a good citizen, quote unquote, you can do things that other people cannot do. And if you're a bad citizen, quote unquote, you can't even buy a train ticket to go to a different city. This is where it's going.
That tells me I'm still on the blacklist.
Punished because he's been branded untrustworthy by the state.
Once you're blacklisted, you can no longer get a bank loan, start a business, buy an apartment, or even send your children to a private school.
To see this in action, look at China. Some pilot dystopian cities are evolving into highly monitored environments. Cameras track most of your movements, sensors follow patterns of behavior, and algorithms influence what people can buy, where they can travel, and even whom they interact with.
If you thought the way Facebook tracks you was scary, it's got nothing on the Chinese government. Chinese government insists it has a great reason for doing this.
Here, in this Shanghai surveillance center, no resident goes unwatched.
As a good citizen, I respect the rules of the road. If I didn't, I'd lose points on my social credit.
It forces us to be well-behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But people with low scores lose rights. The cinema names and shames people considered untrustworthy, plastering their details, even their addresses, across big screens.
All of this is presented as serving the greater good, saving the environment, reducing crime, and creating a more efficient society. What does a fully connected surveillance state really look like? These pilot cities have an all-seeing system with virtually no escape. Faces have become keys to access buildings and services. There's nowhere to hide, as everything is monitored, smartphones, smart cars, smart buildings, all interconnected. In such a system, it's hard to break rules without being noticed. Already, millions have experienced some form of restricted access, often dictated by algorithmic assessments.
This talk of centralized digital currency, that's what they have in China. If you fuck up in China and you get a bad social credit score because you tweeted something they didn't like, now you can't buy a plane ticket. Now you can't buy a car.
Yeah.
Now you can't get a loan. Now you can't do something. You step the fucking line and people self-censor.
While this is unfolding thousands of miles away, similar developments are emerging in the West. Digital identity programs, surveillance grids, real-time tracking, complex databases, and carbon footprint systems. This is an ever-growing concern, as many of these initiatives are gradually moving from pilot projects into real-world implementation.
We'll make a new free-of-charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work.
Western countries are rapidly developing their own digital ID programs. The UK has announced a national digital ID scheme.
We need to be really clear. You must have ID, mandatory digital ID, in order to work.
This technology has advanced amazingly.
To make the most of this new and revolutionary technology.
The British people view this whole digital ID as an Orwellian nightmare.
Yeah, these motherfuckers are pushing digital ID on these people. And then they'll be able to control your movement and control you entirely.
This is your wake-up call. This is about building a centralised, state-controlled digital identity system that could be used, will be used, to link your finances, your medical history, your travel movements, your social media activity, even your social activity in real life, and more. It's quite frankly a digital dog tag, and once it's clipped around your neck, you will not be able to take it off.
Government-imposed digital ID.
There's a coordinated global policy push for digital IDs. One of the main reasons for this coordinated global push to develop digital IDs is because it's deemed essential to the entire Sustainable Development Agenda. It's also known as Agenda 2030.
Europe's digital transformation by 2030.
Governments, banks, and tech companies around the world envision a future where every person has a digital ID, living in a society where everything is digitized, monitored, and managed.
We want to offer to Europeans a new digital identity.
They're basically proposing to have a bunch of your information in one place connected to a digital identity. It's about building the infrastructure of control so that then you can control people's behavior.
In which you will have to have a digital ID to live your life. So the right to work, then the right to rent, banking, education, childcare, voting.
Money could soon evolve into a global central bank digital currency, eliminating cash and allowing every transaction to be tracked by governments, banks, and tax authorities. Your digital wallet would be linked to your ID card. The president of the European Central Bank says that the euro is moving towards a digital currency.
And we work very hard on making sure that we have a digital euro so that we have a European solution. So why not our currency as well?
Well, once you have the digital money system, then there's all sorts of services and applications that can be built on top of that.
Yeah. People are pushing in a very obvious and very specific direction. They want digital currency, centralized digital currency that they control, and they want to get everybody on a social credit score system. They'll probably connect it to some sort of a vaccine app, or if you want to travel around, all they would need is another pandemic to try to push that shit through.
Digital ID is the end of democracy as we know it, and an irreversible step into a dystopian future.
This new digital identity wallet will be used with a new kind of digital money. Unlike Bitcoin, which is decentralized and not controlled by anyone, this digital money, called a CBDC, central bank digital currency, is created and managed directly by central banks.
A central bank would directly issue a CBDC, and then that's the currency that the people would be using in wallets that are managed by the central bank. Prominent central bankers have been going on about the need to create a new financial system and a new financial governance system.
A digital euro, for example, will make it easier for companies and consumers alike.
Banks already maintain massive data points determining your access to loans and mortgages. With digital currency and a world without cash, banks gain real-time visibility into every payment, every person, company, and the entire economy. Fueled by AI, this vast stream of data gives them a new kind of superpower. And surely, It's hard to imagine that the West would turn this system into a Big Brother-style digital prison like China's, isn't it? Western democracies have far stronger legal safeguards, privacy laws, and oversight than China's surveillance state. But every crisis gives governments new reasons to expand control.
Spreading from Wuhan, China, and tonight that first case here in the U.S.
Each emergency, from pandemics to terrorism, makes increased monitoring seem necessary. The pandemic accelerated the rollout of vaccination cards in the West.
Give Europeans back the freedoms they value and cherish so much. This certificate is a symbol of an open and digital Europe. The European Union certificate is a prime example of digital tools that represent our values.
A growing number of European countries are imposing restrictions on people who have not been vaccinated.
Without a vaccination certificate, people often couldn't work, attend university, or enter gyms and restaurants.
Access to trains, domestic flights, and restaurants and bars will only be allowed for the fully vaccinated, recently recovered.
I have the app on my phone. I show that I've been vaccinated. Buongiorno.
If you didn't have a card to present, entry was denied. They were effectively locked out of daily life. Millions were excluded from social or professional activities, and many even lost their jobs for lacking a certificate.
Demonstrators in France, Italy, and Australia took to the streets this weekend, protesting against vaccination passes and new lockdown measures.
A new coronavirus contact tracing app in an effort to track the spread of COVID-19 across the country.
When COVID was happening, there was this push for vaccine passports, and a lot of the people that were pushing or creating the vaccine passports were part of this, either ID 2020, or they were part of related entities pushing for digital ID.
In many countries, digital systems were used to track COVID-19 cases and vaccination status, and in some cases to monitor general compliance with lockdown measures through mobility or contact tracing data.
We have algorithms that automatically recognize certain behaviors. If someone isn't wearing a mask, for example, we immediately detect this wrongdoing.
National Police Service sending to banks the names of people involved in protests.
In Canada, peaceful citizens who protested outdoors against pandemic measures had some of their bank accounts frozen, a striking parallel to China.
I mean, you think about the political risks of freezing accounts. This is a very tricky area.
These cases suggest that, under certain circumstances, the West has the capacity to deploy such systems against segments of the population in the name of the greater good. Whether during a pandemic, a terrorist attack, or efforts to reduce crime or environmental impact, tracking people's behavior, movements, or even thoughts might be considered reasonable.
But just think back to what happened to the during the pandemic. A lockdown happened. You're meant to go for one walk a day. This is giving out to the government data and movements and whatever else, which is deeply, deeply worrying.
As you say, during the pandemic, if you've been identified as a 2-walk-a-day person, or maybe you chose not to get vaccinated, well, then you are denied access to X, Y, Z. I do not want to give that power to a government that has consistently proven not only untrustworthy, but authoritarian.
The groundwork for digital ID systems was established well before COVID-19. Among the most influential initiatives was one launched in 2016 called ID 2020. Its founding partners included Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, the Rockefeller Foundation, and others. The World Economic Forum has been very open about its vision of humanity as a digital society.
Our future competitiveness depends on AI adoption.
Well, Europe is one step closer to bringing in its insidious digital ID.
Enter the EU Digital Identity Wallet that enables you to identify yourself to public and private services.
In the name of saving the planet, proposals have been discussed about tracking each person's digital footprint, monitoring factors such as travel, fuel usage, and even consumer habits like clothing purchases. It really comes across as if the West is quietly building its own version of a dystopian system. Europe is set to collect biometric data, making airports permanent biometric checkpoints.
Travel into the European Union is about to get stricter as a new digital system is rolled out this October. We'll have their fingerprints and their faces scanned.
You are going to need to register your details. Photo successful. How marvellous.
Both in China and in European countries, AI-powered surveillance cameras track faces, gestures, and movements everywhere.
The growth of facial recognition and what it's capable of brings with it a host of privacy and civil liberties issues.
Even the car you drive is constantly logged in a giant database.
So at the same time as a facial biometric digital ID is being made mandatory for every single person in the country, cameras are being introduced that scan your facial biometric.
Because what we're effectively talking about here is a Chinese social credit score, isn't it?
Whether it falls into a full-blown Chinese-style social kind of credit system, who knows? But it feels less laughable today, doesn't it, than it probably did, 5 years ago.
Are we already living in a world where our privacy is so compromised that this really doesn't add a great deal to it?
Every day, more and more of your life is digitalized and centralized into huge databases.
By 2030, all EU citizens should have access to electronic health records.
Many countries already have digital ID systems, and these are gradually evolving into more centralized frameworks for managing health, taxes, and travel. There's no denying that these digital ID systems can be extremely convenient. No long lines, paperwork, or bureaucracy. You can file your taxes, schedule doctor appointments, and store all your documents in a single, fast, and easy-to-use digital system.
And to interact with governments and businesses across the European Union.
In the future, your digital ID could serve as the key to accessing the internet. At least, that's increasingly being discussed.
An identity that ensures trust and protects users online.
Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has called for an end to online anonymity.
And force all these platforms to link every user account to an European digital identity wallet.
What's Sanchez's proposal? To link all social media accounts to a European digital identity wallet.
We are that close to a situation where you basically need a digital ID to go online. For example, your online activity will be linked to a digital ID, or certainly there will be people calling for that.
And Europe is already planning to gain access to scan people's messages.
The EU's plan to scan private messages and flag to the police any content suspected of being child sexual abuse.
The big problem here from privacy activists is that everyday users are going to be exposed to a whole new vulnerability, which is the breaking of their end-to-end encryption services.
These programs, mass surveillance, is not about public safety. It is not about terrorism. It is about power. It is about economic espionage, it is about diplomatic manipulation, and it is about social influence.
In the UK, internet authorities constantly monitor online discourse and can arrest individuals based on their posts.
She's basically viewed a post which is not an arrestable offence,
The only thing is, we need to seize the phone at this current moment. Your daughter will get arrested.
For what? Viewing a social media post? Is that?
I need to go with that in order to.
No, absolutely not.
What can we do to
prevent distraction? I would like you to leave now. I'd like you to leave.
This is why you're.
Okay, I have nothing more to say to you.
People are taking a stand against this digitalization of humans. Almost 3 million people in the UK have signed a petition opposing this digital ID system.
There will be no Terminator, no robot armies, no war you can actually fight.
Okay, so basically that was kind of what you can expect. This too, probably, the AI takeover scenario. This is interesting. That other video that you just watched is on our YouTube channel, so if you want to see it, you guys just search it. This one here is not ours, but it does look interesting. The digital takeover scenario. And it's literal. Hold on one second. Whoops. What the heck just happened? Something fell over there. That was a big boom. But anywho, oh, I'm not on the screen there. There we go. There I am. I thought I was on. All right, so here we go. So what else is up? I think that's about it. I did a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of gospel message here. Gospel truth. I like the way gospel. This is the gospel truth. We got to make sure we know what that means, and not just the the general idea of when someone says that, what does that mean? Historically speaking, there are things that are said. Many preachers and teachers will regurgitate, but not give definition or context, so people have no clue what they're really listening to. It just sounds like a bunch of religious gobbledygook. And so my whole mission here is to make sure people have definition. My mission is definition. It's already happening in Canada. I know it's happening in Canada big time. Poor Scott. Scott. They're going to be saying, "Oh China, oh China, da 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 da." Poor Scott. Hey, it's happening everywhere, though. It's not just going to be there. It's probably everywhere. They're just using you guys to stage so that they can, come in and invade us. That's really what it's all about. They're getting ready to invade us. So, yeah, we know this. Wow, it looks like Oroville's filling back up pretty quick with all that water coming in. I wonder if it's gonna go over the top. Remember Oroville? How many of you guys remember Oroville? Let's see what it says here. Oroville, I'm looking at some of the numbers here on Oroville. People are saying that it's filling up quick. The inflow is coming in huge. So it's already gone up a foot in just the last 24 hours. And it looks like there's a huge amount of water coming in right now. 35,000 cubic feet per second, and there's only an outflow of about 11,000. Yeah, it's gone up almost a foot. Actually, it's gone up more than a foot. It's gone up almost 2. So if this continues, Oroville could, and if they're not able to let out enough water, it doesn't look like they're letting out enough water. Remember Oroville? That's when I started covering that during 2016, right when that thing was about to bust open. That was kind of an interesting time. Just looking at some other stuff here. So what do you guys think? What's your thought on the war? Is there going to be a war? Are we going to go to war here, guys? What do you think? Is there going to be what do you think is going to happen? Do you think Trump's going to pull back? You know, there's NPR and I think it was CNN came out with evidence that Trump is in the Epstein files and that his name and his videos and everything that was in it were scrubbed. So supposedly this is all coming out. I'm wondering if Israel's getting a little bit antsy. This might be Israel's way of kind of twisting his arm a little bit. What do you think? You better do it, Trump. You better do it. Otherwise, there might be some information come out that you're not going to like. What do you think? Because that was just in the news today. So I'm thinking that they're probably getting a little antsy. Because, you know, the Epstein thing was definitely an operation. You know that, right? Oroville Redenbacher? Yeah. Popcorn. Molly, you remember that when I was covering all that stuff in Oroville? Yep. Where did my coffee go? I didn't bring it back here, did I? Oh shoot. Oh well. So anyways, anybody got anything they want to share? Anything you want to say? The dam in California, yeah, the broken dam. Mamacita, how's it going? Popcorn, yeah. Wouldn't it be interesting if we were dead center target? Nobody else has gotten as close as we've gotten on our predictions. And yet, this is how we got a huge windfall of followers, was because we accurately predicted things way in advance. And then everybody spread the news just far and wide. Hey, come and check out. Every single time, it seems like we go these big waves. It's almost like a ebbs and then it flows, and then it ebbs and then it flows. The channel grows and then it pulls back. Lots of things happen in the world, you know. Life happens, kids happen, you know, buying and selling, doing your duties every day. But I think we're coming into the end game now. Russia is getting hit right now? Really? Molly, what's going on in Russia? What's happening? Is the U.S. directing operations there as well through Ukraine on a bigger scale? What is drone activity? Let's see here. Looking at a couple of these Russian channels here on Telegram. It says the data from the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service about the intention of the UK and France to secretly transfer nuclear weapons to Kiev are false. A representative of the Ukrainian Foreign Ministry said. Georgily Taki told Reuters. Remnant of a TPP-4. What the heck is that? What is a TTP? Trans-Pacific Strategy Economic. TTP most commonly refers to the Trans-Pacific Strategic Economic Partnership. So it says here, the Ukrainian authorities took a European delegation that came to Kiev on a tour of the remnants of TPP-4. And it's basically just blown up buildings, and there's a whole big, huge delegation from Europe. I guess that's the end. Oh, it has to, is this a pipeline? Yeah, not good. And this is definitely World War III. I mean, we're looking at World War III for sure. Was that today? Yep, today. Chinese satellite images show an increase in U.S. military presence at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia. 6 E-3 AWACS aircraft, 16 KC-135 refueling aircraft. Wow, look at that. Yep, that's true. Yeah, there is a lot of firepower there. Look at that. And I mean, not firepower, but just, you know, strategic types of equipment for the firepower. This is a satellite image that came from China on what's about to go down. You see those AWACS? These are all AWACSs here. Whoops. Can you see that? That's an AWACS. And these are all refueling tankers. These are the big tanker refuelers right here. They're in preparation for some big operation, it looks like to me. And these are the surveillance, reconnaissance, and or directing of the whole war. These things are going to be flying in the air as everything unfolds. That was just posted today. Oops. Can't post that. It's too loud. Russia will go further, said the press secretary of the Russian head of state, Dmitry Peskov. The country will go further, referring to the special military operation. So, yeah, they're going to press in. Maybe this special military operation is going to go into Poland. That ought to be interesting, huh? Dmitry Medved said, this was yesterday, the blonde rat Kaja said that she is working to ensure that hundreds of thousands of former Russian servicemen never make it to the Schengen zone. What a loss for our soldiers. Well, they can enter there without visas if they want, just like in 1812 or 1945. Happy Defender of the Fatherland Day. What? You gotta be kidding me. This has got to be propaganda. Why would they would never let somebody take this photo or these videos on the ship? They're saying that this is the Gerald R. Ford. This is coming from Russian sources. So they're saying that this is the USS aircraft carrier Gerald Ford, worth $13 billion, which was sent to the shores of Iran, drowning in its own feces. This can't be the Gerald Ford. This has got to be something else. Let's see. There's another one here too. Let's see. Does this look like a ship? Let's see this one. Join the Navy, they said. Join the Navy? The Navy. Let's see. Is this really the Gerald Ford, the SS, what do they call it? The USS Gerald Ford? Come on. Is that true? Let me see. Let me see if there's anything on this. The USS Gerald, because I wouldn't think that they would allow something like that to get out. Toilet. Let's see. Toilets. Is this true? Could this actually be serious? Oh my gosh. Iran faces U.S. wrath, but 5,000 soldiers on USS Gerald Ford face 650 failing toilets. What? You got to be kidding me. Is this a legit? It seems like it's all over the news. NDTV says it. National Review. You got to be kidding me. This is the National Review. This wouldn't be fake news or anything. So this is, I guess, legit from what I'm saying here. It says the Ford will accomplish its mission with or without flushing toilets. What? You got to be kidding. People are taking those videos. It says okay, so it says issues has been promoted by accounts linked to China without one video garnering 3 million views. The planned U.S. attack on Iran has a hitch. Most of the missile targeting crew are queuing for toilets on the lead vessel, the USS Gerald R. Ford. This is not a joke. A set of emails was obtained by NPR, a U.S. public broadcasting group, revealing that toilet wars have broken out. Let's start with the most important bit. Let's see. Is this legit? This can't be. $205 toilet breakdowns in 4 days. This was in 2005 of March. So this has been an ongoing problem for the USS Gerald Ford for quite some time, and I guess it's gotten worse. One sewage engineering head, let's see when this was posted. This was posted February 22nd. It was 2 days ago. It's got 4.6 million views. You got to be kidding me. One result of all this is war between sailors and onboard sewage staff called hull technicians. One sewage engineering head complained that the sailors put all sorts of problematic material down the toilets, including T-shirts. Our sewage system is being mistreated and destroyed by sailors on a daily basis. My HTs are currently working 19-hour days now trying to keep up with the demand. Sigh, and the U.S. taxpayer spent U.S. $13 billion on the ship. On the plus side, it would be delightful if the carrier's desperate lack of functioning toilets causes the attack on Iran was canceled or postponed. On the plus side, it would be delightful, it says, if the carrier's desperate lack of functioning toilets caused the attack on Iran. That doesn't make sense. I don't know if that's a good sentence there. But anyways, Maybe this was written by some Chinese people, huh? Oh, let's see. Did I get something else here? My goodness. This is terrible. Okay, here's another one. This is Wyon or Wan News. I don't know if this is like a Chinese news site. I mean, it's a pretty popular site. From what I know, I've seen a lot of this post. This is from yesterday. The USS Gerald Ford is reportedly facing persistent sewage system failures due to narrow pipes and frequent clogs impacting crew conditions. The issue comes as the carrier heads toward West Asia amid rising U.S.-Iran tensions, raising questions over operational readiness. Oh, my God. You gotta be kidding me. Psh, is this not like a sign from God? Like, seriously, you gotta be kidding me. Who owns One News? Let's see who owns this. If this is a Chinese thing or not. I'm kind of curious. Do you think this is a Chinese a site? Because it does have kind of a strange name. Who owns? Who owns? Let's see who owns. SL Corporate Resources Private Limited. It says one. So World is One News. World is One News. So that's what it stands for. World is One News is owned by the SL Group, an Indian conglomerate funded or founded by Subhash. You know, I'm noticing there's a lot of Indian channels on YouTube, a lot of Indian news channels that are very popular for some reason. It says launched in 2016 is part of the Z Media Corporation Limited network. Who's Z Media? That can't be Maria. That's a different. Okay. So Maria's channel is ZEEE. They're ZEE. So yeah, that's kind of weird that Maria's channel is in a network is called Z Media too. But this is all Indian. So that's an Indian site. But still, it's very popular. I mean, I'm kind of wondering if there's anything out here that shows any other sources on this. Wall Street Journal. Okay, so we got Wall Street Journal here. This was 4 days ago. Missed funerals and blocked toilets. Can you imagine being in a war and having all the toilets backed up? You're talking about, oh my gosh. You know how terrible that must be to be on a ship? And a ship isn't all that, I mean, you don't have all that much room in some of those quarters. And if you got toilets that are backed up, oh my gosh, how disgusting that must be to be in a cramped little area having to endure. I bet you these guys are just hating it on there. They must feel like they're in hell. This is the Wall Street Journal. It's taking its toll on U.S. sailors. I would jump overboard. I would jump overboard. I'd be like, get me out of here. I'm going to swim back home like Forrest Gump when he jumped off of his boat. Remember that? When he jumped off his boat, he's like, get me out of here. I'm going back to mama. Mama, I got to go back to mama. The shrimp boat captain just jumped overboard. We got to get back to mama. And maybe Jenny and Mama. But wait a minute, Jenny's dead. Is Jenny dead? I don't know, Jenny's dead. I wanted to see if I could get this archive up, but I guess not, because it's one of those sites you can't see. But, oh well, let's see if we got any other ones here that we know. I've got that Top Gun song in my head. Highway, you know that song? Yeah, I don't see a whole lot of other. Okay, so Navy Times has it as well. This was January 22nd. This has been ongoing for quite some time, it looks like. Look at this. The Navy's largest ship continues to be plagued on the... Look at this. Can you believe this? This is coming from NavyTimes.com. This was back in the end of January, January 22nd. So that was like almost a month ago. The bathroom. Look at that. Jeez. 650 toilets. It's facing consistent plumbing issues with nearly 650 toilets. Wow. The other one was saying it was like 250 to 400. Can you imagine having toilets backed up? I mean, literally, those videos were legit of the toilets. Can you imagine being on a boat and having toilets like just spouting all the sewage back up into the actual cabins? Oh my God. And then having to clean it, to be the guy that has to go in there and clean it all up. Oh my gosh. Let me see. I mean, this is legit. I was thinking maybe this was propaganda or something, but they said it was Chinese that posted it. The Chinese sites or something. But I guess not. I guess this is probably U.S. servicemen like pissed off. They're like, get me out of here. They're like, look at this. We're living in this squalor. They're probably so pissed off. I mean, look at that. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Join the Navy, they said. It would be fun, they said. Serve your country, they said. Red, white, and blue in our eyes, they said. That's bad. And this has been going on since March. Last March. This is like the Trump phone. When's the Trump phone going to be delivered? You ordered it back in August of last year and you still haven't gotten it yet? Where's all that money going? Can't you get somebody out there to fly out there to fix it? What's the matter? Why can't they get somebody to go out there and fix it? It's been like 7 months. This has been ongoing since March of last year. March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January. They say March of last year. I saw a post. That's almost a year. This has been an ongoing problem. And they still haven't fixed it. Wow. That's bad. In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas in the Navy. This should be Trump's song, because he does like the Village People. You know, that's a Village People song. He does like the Village People for some reason. They ought to put that song on. I bet you all the sailors just love the YMCA song. I bet you if Trump came on, they'd be all like doing the whole thing. YMCA. Why? You know, Trump would be coming on. Don't worry, we're going to have a great time over there in Iran. It's a golden age you're helping us to usher in. It's a time of great peace. You're bringing in and ushering in an eternal peace at my direction. Don't worry, we'll fix your toilets one day. If you happen to be one of the guys that ordered one of my Trump phones, don't worry, it's on the way. It'll be here soon as your toilets are fixed. Man, oh man. In the meantime, Just hold your nose. Plug up that nose. Don't breathe. Oh, it's just disgusting me. So disgusting. Well, anyways, don't take the methylene blue. It's bad. CS drivers, what's up with the methylene blue? Not that I've taken it. I always wondered what was in it. It looks just like a bunch of chemicals. What's in the methylene blue? I'm seeing it. Oh, man. I would play the song, but I don't want to get a copyright. I've got that song in my head, In the Navy. Let me see the lyrics to that song. Yeah, The Village People, 1979. Bunch of gay guys. And I don't mean happy. I mean that they're just like, you know, as Mr. Roper would say on Three's Company. Everybody ever watch Three's Company? He'd be all like, Jack, oh Jack. The Village People, 1979. In the Navy, where you can find pleasure, search the world for treasure, learn science, technology, where can you begin to make all your dreams come true? On the land or on the sea? Where you can learn to fly, play in sports, and skin dive. Study oceanography, sign up for the big band, or sit in the grandstand when your team and others meet. In the Navy, yes, you can sail the 7 seas. In the Navy, yes, you can put on your mind at ease. In the Navy, come on now, people, make a stand. In the Navy, can't you see? We need a hand. Come on, protect the motherland. In the Navy, come on and join your fellow man. In the Navy, come on, people, and make a stand. In the Navy. They want you as a new recruit. They want you as a new recruit. Who, me? But I'm afraid of water. Remember that? That was kind of like the background. If you like adventure, don't you wait to enter. The recruiting office fast. Don't you hesitate. There is no need to wait. They're signing up new seamen fast. Maybe you're too young to join up today, but don't worry about a thing, for I'm sure there will be always a good Navy protecting the land and sea. In the Navy, you can come sail the 7 seas. In the Navy, you can put all your mind at ease. Come be bold and make a stand in the Navy. Can't you see we need a hand? In the Navy, come on, protect the motherland. In the Navy, come on and join your fellow man. They want you as a new recruit. Who, me? They want you as a new recruit. But I'm afraid of water. Hey, look, man, I got seasick even watching it on TV. They want you. Oh my goodness, they want you. What am I going to do in a submarine? They want you. Oceanography, what? They want you in the Navy, they want you. Yes, sir. No, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. Aye, sir. Where can you find pleasure? Search the world for treasure. Learn science, technology, where you can begin to make your dreams all come true. Blah, blah, blah. Same old refrain. Where you can learn to fly, play sports, and skin dive. Okay, then it goes on to say the same refrain. I don't know. Did that sound kind of gay to you? I guess it's just kind of recruiting video, maybe. Maybe Trump should be playing this one. Maybe this is more appropriate for this moment in time when we need to shore up our defenses. You know, our offensive posture, especially when we got a ship that's in the pooper. So you're answering, but it's synthetic rubbish. That's what I thought too. I would never take it. I would never take methylonium blue, methabaloney blue from Alex Jones. It looks cool, but it looks like, I don't know if you ever saw penguins when they had that serum, turn them blue, turn them purple. They have all kinds of weird growth coming out of their heads and arms. That's what it reminds me of. It's like some kind of serum. I would never take it. I'd be afraid I'd turn into some kind of monster. Royal Splendor, what are you talking about? What conversations are you talking about? You cracked the code. What are you talking about? Molly. I do too. Two more one-term presidents. Wow. 8-year-old ship, huh? Well, guys, I think I better head off. I've got stuff I got to get done. And for all you out there that are hanging out, watching, and praying, be looking up because things are heating up. They're heating up. You better look up, get ready. Redemption drawing nigh. And by the way, before redemption, there's going to be a great fire. It's going to purge. Maybe it's going to refine the threshing floor, because that's what happens when they win out the wheat, then they burn all the chaff. It's kind of like what I think is coming. There's a big purging taking place. But God bless all you out there. I appreciate you all hanging out, watching with us, being a part of the show. In the meantime, I guess I will see you guys back on the flip side probably tomorrow, unless something happens between now and then, which I hope doesn't happen because I'm a little bit tired. I think I need to get some sleep. So please, nothing major happening right now. But I will see you guys back tomorrow. All right? God bless. Have a great night. God bless.